What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. Who's here? Thanks for stopping by. We're doing a live stream here today, so welcome everybody currently watching and people that are watching in the future. We're doing some CVC today, personal rewards, so we will be going a little bit harder today for some of the extra rewards. So let's have a look at what we're going up against here, and yeah, we'll get right to it. So sit back and enjoy, and nice to have you here. Congrats. Hey, thanks guys. Welcome. Welcome. Are you gonna spend some gems farming Odin? Yeah, probably not today though, but I'll probably spend some. I won the recent Odin dungeon event. So I spent a little bit there, but honestly, compared to a lot of people, I probably spent very little energy on Odin. Relatively speaking. Good evening, 7 p.m. For me, it is 4 a.m. So good evening and good morning. Make sure you guys get your clan quests. I always forget this. It's a time zone thing, but guess we'll go this one. The dragon one is pretty straightforward. Anything here? Spider. Let's see. How are you guys doing? How's your CVC for everybody so far? Do the Hydra one, I guess. And then spider one. 4 a.m. Yeah, 4 a.m. is normal, man, for me. Yeah, 4. Oh, nice. We got energy today. That's about it. I guess we'll try our luck with these artifacts. These artifacts are not bad. 6-star guarantee is nice. Energy. All right, we got some energy today. Let's go. Are you from Singapore? No, I'm not. Did a full regear on whole roster. Need silver ascension potion, so now I'm in the Sandalwood right now. Nice. Yeah, I did a pretty big regear recently. Well, let's do our clan boss before we forget. Yeah, I did a full regear pretty recently during the regear event. It was good. Put in a lot of work. Damn, that's almost good. If this was HP percentage, it'd actually be okay. We'll keep it. Let's see if we can roll a triple or something. CVC is slow. All right. You're lost in CVC? Oh, nice. Sacred Shard right away. Ooh, that's a nice shield too. All right. Content creator luck. Let's go. When I turn that stream button on, then things start happening. Well, I'll show you how to do some CVC points, I guess. Oh my goodness, look, my second account, I have a Sacred Shard as well. Look at that, guys. CC luck, right? Let's see here. A week? How do you survive? How do you survive if you go a week without a Sacred Shard? Come on. Do you even raid, bro? Just kidding. You had 4 Sacred Shards today? Get out of here. 7 in the last 3 days? Nice, yeah. Yeah, I hear some people say like they don't get a Sacred Shard for like a month. I was like, okay, dude, like it's possible, but like, is it really possible? Like, if you don't get a Sacred Shard for a month, like I question whether you play this game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very unlikely. Or you're exaggerating, or you forgot, or something, you know what I mean? But yeah. What gear do I have on Geomancer? Kind of generic gear. I don't have anything specific for him for this role against Iron Twins. Spider. Sorry, I'm just checking out my second account. Gotta make sure it's going. Come on. All right. Clan shop. Yeah, another good tip. I'll show you guys. So clan shop, right? So I have tons of clan gold. I don't really, it doesn't really affect me claiming clan shop early or anything like that. The other thing I like to do is like just let the clan gold, like when you're doing the missions and stuff, let the clan gold expire, and then it'll head straight to your inbox, and then there it is. So it kind of shows you, it kind of reminds you to, hey, my clan gold is ready, therefore go to your clan quest and get new quests. Because sometimes I forget these clan quests, and you can kind of see like, they've been out for 4 hours already and half of them are gone, right? So sometimes you need a little bit extra reminder. You're meant to get one sacred shard every 3 days. Yeah, exactly. Like if you're double chesting Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare, so that's 4 chests a day, your average is about 1 every 3 days. Exactly. 2 key Nightmare. Yeah, if you're 2 key Nightmare only, like you're probably gonna get like 3 a month, which makes sense, right? But you have people hitting double, like they're saying they're hitting 4 chests a day and they're getting one a month or something. It's just like, oh man, it's really that's really really unlucky, or there's some exaggeration going on here. You tend to forget the shards when you YOLO all the time. Yeah, it's literally a monthly sacred along with void shards. You're struggling in Ultra Nightmare to have at least 35 mil. It all depends, right? Like 35 mil, like I remember when I first went to Ultra Nightmare and I was doing like 12 million damage. 12 million damage, trying to get lucky to do 20 million. If I got 20 million, then I had a chance at 4 keying. I remember the struggles, Red dot goes in your, does my head in. Oh, you got I don't know, a lot of people don't like the red dot. It's like, oh, it's like stresses them out or something. I'm like, really? It helps me. It's like a reminder for me. Like instead of me setting like reminders for myself constantly on your phone, it's like a little mini reminder, right? All right, let's do some arenas here. How do you have 2 instances of raid? So what you do is you open player and play, open raid, and then you go to control your task master, your task manager. So I go to task manager, you right click end task, premium player and play, you open it again, and then you open another account. And then you can do that infinitely, depending how much load your computer can take. About it. What's up, Black? Welcome. Good morning, Wenzel. How are you? Yeah, definitely. Feel free to submit. If you want to have any kind of account overview, but like I said, it's used for content purposes. So it's kind of like, if I could make you sign like a contract, I probably would, just because it'll set expectations. But I think some people, they do get overwhelmed by comments or people getting nasty to them, and sometimes I can get a little nasty, but of course I try not to be. It's not nasty. I'm not being nasty. I can be a little teasing. I like to tease, but I'm never ill-willed with things. I like to tease, but it's always in a lighthearted way, or I try to be. But I think you have to be a little bit thick-skinned to be on video. Say that. Hey Mike, how are you, man? Welcome. Good. It's early for me, so it's just after 4 a.m. So it's a little bit early, just getting my bearings here. Good morning, Nick. Yeah, I'm good, Wenzel. Thanks. Yeah, good. Standard Tuesday. You know, personal CVC. So exciting. Anything yet on the next fusion? As soon as I know, I will. As soon as I know and I am allowed to let you guys know, I will let you guys know. I am one of the more prompt, I would say, more prompt creators, I would say. You pulled 16 secrets this month from Clan Boss. Nice. Rats, man. Yeah, I think the most sacreds I pulled in 1 month was maybe like 20, 22 or something. The low 20s. So, you know, there's some variance, right? Like obviously like some months I pulled like under 5 and then some months, you know, 20. So, but your average should be about 10 or 11. And people don't believe that. They're like, what? Really? That's impossible. How do you get that? I'm like, well, that's the math, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. It's just the math. Maybe it's difficult. I don't know. Hey, Jay, what's up, man? How are you? Welcome, everybody. How do I build a Ieyasu as a person who just got Arbiter and built an Arbiter? I mean, that doesn't really tell too much because, for example, somebody like Ash doesn't have Arbiter, but he has, you know, he's obviously not a new player. So it doesn't really tell me too much if you got Arbiter. But Ieyasu is a damage dealer, so you build him for damage. So 100% crit rate, high crit damage. He's an attack-based damage dealer. You give him attack, and that's about it. That's all you worry about. Give him ignore defense gear set, like lethal, merciless, savage, and he's gonna do some work for you. Got coffee? Yeah, I do. Right here, man. Coffee. Cheers. Coffee cheers. Gizmat good for a clan boss. I mean, he provides HP burn. Other than that, I'm not too sure his kit. I think like he hits hard, but I don't know how well that translates to like clan boss damage. Hey Andre, welcome everybody again. Ever since I got a job and other responsibilities, I struggle to keep up for fusions. Oh no, better get rid of that job. We know what the real problem is. It's that job. Or what you could do is keep the job and then pay to complete fusions. You know, like it's tough, right? Fusions, it takes a lot of time. That's actually something that isn't stressed as often because time is the given, right? Like you kind of have to, you know, if you're planning to do anything in this game, like seriously, it takes a lot of time or money. So I feel like the time part of it is not stressed as often. But yeah, time is a big one, especially if you're newer and you don't have really fast optimized teams. It's a problem, right? Because if you're taking like 4 minutes a run, you know, just saying hypothetically, if you're taking 4 minutes a run, it's, you know, and you need to finish, you know, your dragon tournament and then you need to do other things, you need to be pretty efficient with your time, right? So imagine doing that on your phone only, mobile. You're done, right? Like how do you, you know, do your mobile only, you know, with no, you know, no time. You have no time, right? So the only thing you can do is if you're running like 4-minute dungeons, like just, you know, hypothetically, you probably need to run it while you're at work or while you're sleeping. That's the best thing. But doing so, you're at the mercy of your multi-battles or your helper. And sometimes helper goes down. It doesn't work. Helper stops working once in a while. Again, you would be at the mercy of whatever happens, right? So it's really, really tough. You know, I get that, right? Like even if you have the resources, time is a big one. It's a big one. Good morning, Dom. What are your thoughts on Zeal set for Live Arena? Personally, I don't have a lot of Live Arena gear, so I haven't had I don't even have like a usable Zeal set on anybody. But those 2-piece sets from Live Arena are very good. So if you can squeeze them in, yeah, definitely good. Where are all the red dots? All the red dots are there. Let's see. Playing for a month and a half. What gear for Wukong in the early game? I know you like, for example, you get your early lifesteal gear. I don't think Wukong needs the lifesteal gear. So you can give him kind of whatever gear that gives you the most damage. And then save the lifesteal gear for like KO or whatever, or whoever else the starter is. That would be my suggestion, because Wukong just dies and comes back. He doesn't need survivability from lifesteal usually. Would be more cost effective to quit. Serious question, when will I be able to exchange my durable and fragments? It's been taking forever. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. I don't often exchange stuff, so I don't know the exact nuances of that system. But I don't know why it would not be able to exchange them. Is there a reason why it's not allowing you? Good morning, Colin. Coffee, cheers. Yep. Halloween fusion predictions. That's a good one. It better be a freaking legendary. I'm not. I wouldn't be happy with a epic. And Halloween fusion, like, to me, it's gonna start on the 31st, so next Thursday. We'll probably hear about it on Friday, 25th, and then we'll start releasing some footage maybe early next week. But my guess is the 31st for the Halloween fusion. I said that, you know, many weeks ago, but I'm not sure. Predictions. The dog? I think maybe the dog. It makes sense, but I don't know what player is going to do. Why not? Why not the dog? Fused Mikage today. Hey, congrats. That's a good one. Mikage is great. Love your takeover videos. I feel like I learned the most. So be sure to submit mine because I'm doing so much wrong. That's great. That's great TV. If you're doing lots of things wrong, it's good for a video and it helps people. It's it's really the worst when you have a really good account and you've done nothing wrong. It's like, oh, okay, that's great. So you know what you're doing, and okay, great, good. Yeah, just put more time in the game, you're done. Like, the best are when you can really have really positive help on somebody's account. Like, hey, like, every step you can help the guy, and I think that's really useful. If someone wants to learn, I'm happy to help. That's the thing. If someone wants to learn, I'm happy to help. And that's ultimately what those videos, I want them to do, right? I want them to help people. And yeah, everyone kind of finds and uses help differently, I think. So some people like to read, some people like to watch, some people like to listen, some people like to see it in action, right? So when you see somebody like, evaluate an account like that, it helps people in different ways. It helps different people in different ways. So some people might not find that useful at all. It might not be useful at all to, talk about somebody's account. But some people might find it useful when you just start doing things, right? Like, how do you do a gear cleanse? Like, some people don't know how to do a gear cleanse, and when you tell them, they don't get it. But when they see it happen, then they're like, oh, I get it. So I try to mix up my videos and then try to be helpful in different ways. Just because everyone learns differently, right? Fragment exchange is usually after the monthly patch. Oh, so it's limited? I didn't know that. And then the phone battery's dead after 2 hours? Yeah. Yeah. I don't play on my phones, but I imagine it's not very good to plug in your phone all day. Raid should implement 4x speed. They should. The super raids was good because it's effectively 4x speed, right? But it also commits more of your energy, especially when you start failing. So I don't think super raids is as good as 4x speed. But I know why they don't want to give us faster, faster dungeon, whatever, dungeon speeds or whatever. Because if they gave us like 10x speed, right, then people wouldn't give a shit about trying to go faster. They'll be happy with doing 5-minute runs with 10x speed with super raids. They're not going to optimize their teams. They're not going to spend resources building new champions. They're just going to be happy with what they have, and then they're happy with 10x, right? So that's why Plarium doesn't want to do that. It's obviously it's a financial standpoint, right? It's not smart for them, right? So yeah, for them to give us super raids, it already helps a lot already, right? Because it effectively gives us a 4x. Not as good as a 4x, but it effectively gives us a 4x. Even mobile gear cleanse is tedious? No, I can't imagine playing this game on mobile. So all you mobile players out there, big cheers, guys. Big cheers. You guys are the real grinders. The real grinders of this game. How important are attack defense stats on Odin? Focus on speed, crit rate, crit damage. I think his stat scaling is mostly crit damage. Accuracy is going to be a big thing for him as well because he does have the strip and stun. The strip's super important. So those are probably priorities: speed, crit rate, crit damage, and accuracy. I would put probably accuracy higher than the damage stats, because he's going to be required and doing more debuffs than he is going to be doing damage most of the time, right? So if you have to give up anything, it's going to be giving up damage first, in my opinion. In my opinion, you give up the damage first, and then you go all in on the accuracy and speed. I think people will, they can argue that giving him damage over accuracy may work out. I'm not too sure. Personally, I find like his A3, it still requires some setup. Like you're not gonna, go in there and try to one-shot everybody with your A3. I don't think so. But maybe I'm wrong. I did have some play testing with him, but it's obviously not like exhaustive. So I play tested him maybe 3 hours. So I don't know everything about him. And I haven't seen him in every scenario. So, but I know he is good and his A3 hits hard. But yeah, I would probably give him some kind of hybrid build, to be honest. Pinpoint is probably for sure on him. Pinpoint Stone Skin, maybe. I've seen 2-turn Pinpoint very good. He's usually in a speed team, right? So you usually go first, so you usually don't use Stone Skin. Hugs from Brazil. Welcome, man. Hugs. Lego Dog. Yeah, I think Cerebus was a popular option, I guess. Cerebus. If you guys know Cerebus, it's like the 3-headed demon dog that protects the underworld or something. Something like that. Oh no. Sorry, I'm missing chat here. Auto clicker for Android. Wow, nice. Didn't know that exists. Was getting 1.2 bill. However, Mikage Toshiro, that's a nice combo. You don't get lifesteal gear at the moment. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I know during these login events, you don't get the lifesteal set, which I think is that's a big problem. I know a lot of people hate Siege, but our clan managed to get 50 fragments of Lammasu already. Do you think she's going to be impactful? Yes, Lammasu is very good. She's awesome. I'm at 80, I think I'm at 84 fragments for Lammasu. Both my clans have been extremely good for Siege, but I think we've been kind of fortunate getting some weaker matchups, but also both my clans have been very, very, very involved for our Siege. But most of the involvement was actually in the first 2 weeks, just trying to get everything going. Afterwards, it's actually not too bad. But I think I'm doing pretty good for Lamasu. Have a quick look here. I think I'm at 84 fragments. Let me check. Fragments. Yes, 84 fragments. Yeah, she's gonna be really good. I really like her. I think her kit is amazing. She looks amazing. So AoE decreased attack, similar to Uko's decreased attack. And then you have the block buffs. Okay, block buffs, very, very good because we don't have that many block buff champions. And then True Fear. So you can use her right away in Hydra for block buffs. If it's a boss, has a 75% chance of playing block buffs and decreased speed. Like, look at these debuffs for Hydra. It's just insane, right? Insane debuff combination. Decreased speed with the block buffs. And then the A3 4-turn removes, 4-turn cleanse, and then intercept stacks, and then turn meter boost, and then reset. So it's pretty wild. Pretty wild kit, right? Immune to sheep. It's great. So it makes her very good in like arena and stuff. So, and then speed in all battles. Great aura in all battles. Great base speed. She's a great champion. I don't know if it's gonna be interesting because I don't know if she's better than Mithrala, because Mithrala comes at a much earlier stage, right? Than Lamasu. So when you get Mithrala is, you know, if you get her early, she's incredible. I mean, so, but yeah. Is there ever a 2x primal? Yes, there is. There's usually a 2x primal every 2 or 3 months. So just hold strong there. Shayek's not completely useless. Yeah, he's not completely useless, but the Hydra thing really messed him up. Obviously, honestly, I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have just fixed taunt so that the taunt champion always gets eaten instead of the Hydra's never eating anybody when taunt is up. Because when taunt is up, the Hydra's always just use the A1, like their base attack. But if they just made it so that Hydra's just eat the taunt champion, just do that. Why just kill taunt completely? Like, you're just killing a strategy, right? That I don't think was overpowered. Like, the taunt strategy is not overpowered. And if you make it so that the Hydras actually eat something instead of not eating anybody, then it's fine. Like, I think that's fine. But yeah, so it's pretty bad. Is your Arbiter faster than your Warlord? No. No, sorry. Is your Warlord faster than your Arbiter? No. My Warlord is 379. He doesn't have like a 6-star blessing. If he had a 6-star blessing, it's plus 10 speed. He's also in Stone Skin, so I lose a bunch of like speed sets and stuff like that. But my Arbiter is like 400 something, 410 or something. Yeah, my fastest champion, I don't even gear my fastest champion in my fastest gear anymore, because my fastest possible champion is not faster than the competition I'm playing against. So I just I find if I lose the speed race, then I'd rather have like Stone Skin on them so that they get a turn than just potentially losing speed races. Like, my fastest champion is like 425 or something, or 422. Obviously that's really fast, but you know, at the level that I play at, it's not that fast. It's been 1.5 years since the last guaranteed champion. Do you think they've stopped that? Yes. Yeah, they did. They know our threshold for tolerance. Ever since they gave us the 20 Sacred Shard Mishinaki or the 20 Sacred Shard Elva, they know our threshold. So they've been kind of mixing in the legendary champions with, like, you know, Deck of Fate and all that other stuff. So I don't think the 20 Sacred guarantee is probably going to happen the way we know it. It's always going to be in some kind of format like Deck of Fate or Hero's Path. So, and I think 20 is the minimum nowadays. for legendary champion. So if you want to do like a deck of fate, for example, if you can do a deck of fate with 20 sacreds, I think that's a good deal relative to what people are used to. Because for 20 sacreds for a deck of fate, you're getting a champion plus some other goodies along the way, right? Because previously, like Elva, for example, you just pulled 20 sacreds and then you just got Elva. You didn't get any other bonus stuff, right? But yeah, I think Plarium, they know exactly what we will, we're willing to go for, we're willing to pay. So I don't think we're gonna get cheap guarantee anymore. How's your morning? How OP is Intercept, and which artifact set do you think is better, Pharaoh or Pinpoint? I think we have to think about Pharaoh and Pinpoint kind of differently. I think Pinpoint is a better arena set, and I think Pharaoh is probably a better Hydra set. Pharaoh is actually really, really strong for Hydra, but you need a 9-piece set. And right now, Pharaoh is very rare because we only get it from Siege. So to me, yeah, that's kind of the way I'm going to look at it. Pinpoint is very strong. When you look at Pinpoint and it's on a really good champion and that champion is kind of like owning you, you're like, oh man, I can't do anything against this guy because of his stupid intercept stacks and he's just literally owning me. So for example, like somebody like Armans or something, like you're trying to control Armans, but he has the stupid intercept stacks, and then maybe he has some other champion like, supporting him, and it just gets really tough, right? You should stop charging energy. Oh, interesting, for failed runs. Yeah, I mean, I think most people, well, you have to penalize those that don't want to optimize, I think, maybe. Finally got Lydia, congrats. Sorry, I'm just missing the chat here. Fenrir would be perfect. Yeah, I think Fenrir is probably the... I think there's no more Fenrir. They could have done it during the Asgard divide, but then they're just focusing on the 4 champions for Asgard. Cerberus would be nice. That's the 3-headed hell dog, or the gatekeeper of hell or whatever. That would be cool for Halloween. Like, they've done everything, right? They have like Dracula, Frankenstein. Like, what else is left? Like, they have a mummy in the game. I don't know what else Halloween they can do, but new player here, 10th day. Between Ugo, Arman, Sigmund, and Loki, would you pick as their second 6-star? Who's your first 6-star? Second 6-star, I mean, Armans, you basically... I think with Armans, you can just dominate the whole game, right? Like, if you have a proper Armans, you can pretty much dominate the whole game. I don't... The only ones from that list of 4 that is like a 60 is Sigmund. But I don't know if you have the gear to support... Oh, sorry, Sigmund. I thought it was like Sigfrind. Not the mythical, right? It's the... I would probably go for Armans. Armans can do a lot. We forget that Armans is really good in PvE as well sometimes. Do you think the Pinpoint accessories will be available once Odin Dungeon is finished? I think it's gone, to be honest. I don't think it's coming back. Maybe in a limited set. Maybe... Like, they still have opportunity to do it in a deck of fate, for example. I think that would be popular. If they put like 6-star legendary or mythical gear in a deck of fate for Pinpoint, I think it would be very popular. But I don't know if they have any plans for that. But I do think they would bring back Pinpoint at some point. Because just having the gear set there, it's just clogging up, our stashes. I don't know. Game is going more into deck and path. Yeah, instead of straight pulling. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of it is like just to confuse the player. And another part of it is to basically give you pieces of a reward, right? So for example, like if you don't have the full amount, it really traps some people that are not aware, or not actively thinking about what they're doing. It really traps people because it gives you pieces of a reward, like for example, like the fragment, right? Like Deck of Fate. I find people get trapped in the Deck of Fate very often. Like if you pick up pieces of the champion or whatever, you don't realize any benefit from those pieces until you have all the pieces. So a lot of people, they actually go into like those events without like properly mathing out what they have. Just things like that. Like they're just not like thoughtful enough about what they're doing. And then they end up like, hey, I have like 30% fragments, or I have fragments and then I can't get the rest. I'm like, well, now you have a third of a champion, right? Like, and a third of the champion you spent resources to get, but that third of a champion is not going to help you unless you think getting mold fragments is helpful. Like that's not helpful, right? Like you literally spent resources to get a third of a champion. So I think in that way, like Plarium's like, yes, we got this guy, right? This guy only has a third of a champion. He doesn't get a full champion. And then, obviously, or the other thinking is like, oh, I gave up those resources for a third of a champion. Maybe I will spend money and then get the rest of the champion. So that's probably what Plarium wants you to think, right? So they trap you that way too. So a lot of people, they think, oh, I sunk the cost, therefore I have to commit and go all in to get the rest. So that's another way that they get you too, right? It's all psychological in the end. But yeah, it's it's tough. It's tough. You can only like, I try to help people like realize, but it's a time thing, right? Some people don't have time. They don't have time. They don't want to think about it. You just do stuff, and then sometimes you get stuck and get trapped, right? You're just an endgame clan, so lucky there. I mean, one clan I built, it took me years to build up the clan. And then this other clan, this is like a top 10 clan, like it requires like significant gameplay and involvement. Like it's not just luck. Like it's actually getting into a good clan is not luck. It's actually hard work. So yeah. So don't think it's about luck. It's hard work. There's a lot of good clans out there. And yeah. Don't think it's luck. Why doesn't Ramontu get the same love as Arbiter and Marius? Ramontu, I think, is like Arbiter you get much earlier, so then she's really, really helpful when you get her. Ramontu, the difficulty to get Ramontu is arguably worse than Marius. So Ramontu is arguably harder to get than Marius. And Marius is like significantly better, especially in PvE, because he brings the max HP slams. The max HP makes it so that he's really good against bosses. And he's arguably easier than Ramontu. So a lot of it is like, he's harder to get. He's more specifically used. Like he's more of an arena champion. And then obviously Sheep hurt him a lot, right? Because prior to Sheep, I was actually using him for like platinum reset, like platinum pushes. He's like, Ramontu is really good, right? But after Sheep came out, he's done, right? He was done. But with Pinpoint back in the system, Ramontu gets, way more viable, right? Yeah, polymorph. 2x prime was around the corner. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think soon. Probably soon. Is Jinwon useful in late game? Jinwon is good. He's good. He's a lot better now after his buff. I don't know exactly where I would use him. I haven't really put too much thought into it because I don't have the champion. And I never play tested him. But yeah, his kit looks way better. Hello, France. What do you think would be the time to invest more time in the Sand Devil? Okay, good question. basically when your gear is good enough that it's worth fixing. Because a lot of people, they do Sand Devil, but their gear is like horrible. Like, why would you want to fix horrible gear? The only exception to Sand Devil. Oh man, did I fail? Come on, get there. There we go. This one lost the defense down. But we still made it. Usually in the past, the Sand Devil would kill the whole team and that's it. But now it's very close to 100%. Okay, for Sand Devil, yeah. So basically, like the biggest thing for like early game players is like you want enough oil to get the speed ascension on boots, because then plus 12 speed is a big deal, right? After that, obviously the crit damage on the gloves is a big deal, but I think most like early or mid game players shouldn't really focus on that, because rolling on the glove is actually really difficult. Like getting a good crit damage glove and then getting crit damage on it, it's like, I think it's more difficult than getting the speed roll. But in any case, you wouldn't focus on Sand Devil until you start getting some good gear. So that could be a while, you know, that could be a while. Because I think like Sand Devil and Shogun, they're supposed to basically like extend the life of your gear. So it's like, hey, I got really good gear. Let's say you got the best gear possible from dungeons. Therefore, it's like, oh, I'm never going to farm Fire Knight again because I got the best gear possible. There's no point. But now you got oils. So now your gear life is basically extended by having, oils and powders, right? So at that point, yes, then you start focusing for sure. But for like players that have like maybe like one piece that they maybe want to work on, you can definitely invest a little bit of time. But you can also pick up like oils and stuff from like rewards, right? Like event rewards, which is really nice. So it really depends. It really depends on how much good gear you have. And then you start focusing more energy and time and attention into like, things like Sand Devil, right? But that's going to be dependent on your account and your person and whatever, right? What's up, Nathan? Yo, Inferno, what's up, man? Sorry, I missed you guys. Pinpoint in the event dungeon. I think they might bring... That would be interesting if Pinpoint is always part of the event dungeon, or they bring in other sets. Maybe they bring in, another set for the event dungeon. I don't know. Right now, the event dungeon could be, it could be anything. Kirillon the Ringer. What does he do? He's a speed booster, right? He's a speed booster. I don't fully recall. I didn't really, never really play tested him. Who is Wrath up against? I'm not too sure. I don't think it's too significant. Not going to be too much of an issue, I think. 6-star Seer from Free Stonestones. Don't have her yet at level 86. Yeah, I mean, when you get her, it's going to be pretty huge. So, congrats. Those of us who can't farm higher Odin stages aren't getting that great gear. I've been farming level 20. Hope they bring it back later. Yeah, so if you can just do 20, right? The accessories actually drop with pretty high frequencies, so at least you have some accessories. The accessories will give you a nice little speed boost. If you have 2 accessories and 2 pieces of gear, you could, put that on 1 arena champion. Like, for example, like I probably spent, I don't know, 30,000 energy, maybe a bit more on the event dungeon. It's not a lot, like, over like months, right? 2 months or something. And I don't have a single champion in a Pinpoint set, so it is what it is. What's my favorite content in Raid? I guess maybe being a content creator. I don't know. I like Raid. I actually like the game. That's the thing. I enjoy playing the game. I play the game every day. I play the game super actively every day. So for me, I like the game. And I like making content. So for me, it's just an extra part of the game, making content. But overall in the game, I do like PvP a lot. Like I like to improve my champions. That's kind of like what keeps me in the game. Like the end game for me is like get the best gear possible, right? Want my champions to be like as nice, best in its best gear, doing as well as it can PvP. The last couple months, I actually been enjoying Hydra a little bit more, like optimizing teams and stuff. But obviously after this big update, it's a big change, right? So we're all gonna have to deal with that. I haven't really looked too deeply into it, the new changes and how it affects my teams. So I haven't really done any like serious regearing or anything like that on my own accounts. But that's gonna happen pretty soon, I think. Max glyph challenges, yeah. You know, somebody told me about those max glyph challenges, and then I like basically just stocked them up and just waited till it came, and then I used them all. Have you got Odin? I don't have Odin. I wish I had Odin. Last wave is Jin 1. Yeah, the last wave is Jin 1, yeah. I had some problems against that last wave, Jin 1 wave. Do I want this guy? I probably do, eh? How much do I have? 175? It's not a lot. I have to leave enough for these two. 175. Guess I can sell some stuff. Guess I can sell some stuff. Big choice here. Some choice here. 1 star, 2 stars. So that means I need 100 of this and 20 of this. So 120. And then 300. I'm gonna have to think about that a bit. I don't really need like a 3-star newt. Like we have a 3-star newt in the shop right now. I don't really need this because the next step is trying to get the crit damage one and then building up to 6. But I don't think I think I'm gonna pass. Just gonna chill. Hey C Money, how are you? Yeah, the Ramontu is very difficult. So that's why I think like he's just not, you know, super worth it, I think, compared to like Marius. When you make your account takeover, I do one once a month. So yeah, not easy. I do it once a month, or I try to. This dungeon diver is like horrible. Any thoughts on how and where to use Supreme KO? Isn't he a poisoner? I actually don't have him. I never play tested him myself. Oh man, come on. All right, let's think this died. I think this died. Hey Drob, welcome. How long did it take you to progress in Tag Team Arena? It's really hard to progress for new players. I reached Gold 1. Like for me, I got Ramontu before 2 years in this game. So I got Ramontu around day 600. So that's when I got Ramontu. So I was already, you know, finished all the missions. So that gives you an idea of how quickly I got Ramontu. I got him, yeah. So before 2-year mark, I already got Ramontu. Lydia took me about 300 days. 300 days, a bit under, maybe 290. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna close this because it looks like this game client failed when I clicked on the tournament. little bit annoying. No real updates here today on the calendar. I would probably expect something soon. Something's gonna happen on Thursday, guys. See, look, something's gonna happen on Thursday. It's probably gonna be a progressive event. Let's see. I've gotten Marius before Ramontu. The summon Gomlock mission is actually the stupidest one. Yeah, the Gomlock one, if you weren't paying attention, it could take you months to do. I've never seen a content creator rank gear when they also factor in how easy it is to get. Sure, Slayer is good, but who can really get Slayer pieces? Could maybe be a good video for you. Yeah, I think so. The problem is I don't have huge experience with some of the sets. That's the thing. For example, Slayer set. I don't have like a usable 9-piece set. I can't test it. Like on the, even when I had access to a test server, I can't actually test things I don't have. So because I don't have a 9-piece set, like I couldn't test Thor in a 9-piece Slayer set. So it's a little bit annoying, right? But yeah, Slayer set is, you know, good set, but it's very hard to get. I don't have one. I don't have a 9-piece set. It is what it is. Luckily, it's not like meta defining. Slayer is not meta defining. It's good, but it's not good enough to be meta defining. At least, like with Bolster, when Bolster first came out, Bolster was meta defining, and it was incredibly hard to get. So that was not very fair to players that could not have access without paying money. So I wasn't a fan of that. But now Bolster is less good. People use it less, but it's still a really strong set, which I would love. But yeah, that's a good suggestion. So thank you, man. Think about that. I had a gear, honestly, man, I had a gear video in mind like months ago, and I was gonna make a video on the gear stuff, like, you know, maybe months ago. And then I was looking for like the images, because I wanted to put it in a tier list, because that's the most, you know, nice way of presenting it. And then I asked for the icons and all that stuff, and there's just so many, and Plarium probably lost track of which icons they uploaded for us. And then I asked them, I was like, oh, can you make sure that all the icons are there? And then I didn't really get like a real response. Like it was kind of like a nothing response. I'm pretty sure they didn't want to put in the work to get the images uploaded. And then it just kind of, you know, fell off, right? Lost interest, right? I thought about doing something else, and that was it. didn't revisit it again. I could take the images from in-game. It's just not going to be very good. Like, look at these little baby images here. What is the average time in months, days to get Arbiter for a new account? I remember when I got Arbiter, it took me about... I got Arbiter at the same time I got Seal of the Drakes. So Seal of the Drakes, I think, is 180 days. So it took me 180 days to get it, and I don't think I was particularly fast. But I was very active, and the Arbiter missions do lead you in terms of what to do sometimes. But for me, because I had nothing to work with when I first started off. I didn't book a single legendary for the first 6 months of the game. So I didn't book a single legendary. I didn't have any good usable legendaries to use. I wasn't hitting Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, you know. And then at the 6-month mark, it was a big change for me, because at the 6-month mark, so day 180, I got Seal of the Drakes, which helped me, you know, go higher in Doom Tower. That was a big one. Go higher in Doom Tower. She stabilized some dungeons, and at the same time I got Seal the Drakes, I got Razin fused, so he really helped my clan boss, gave me the decreased defense and weaken. And then I got Arbiter around the same time. So I got all three of those champions, Seal the Drakes, Razin, Arbiter, around 6 months, and those were my legendaries that I really used. And then I had I had enough legendary books to book out Razin and then to book out Seal the Drakes. I left Arbiter because Arbiter works fine without books or anything like that. Just for the beginning. But those three were my first three legendaries. And they really helped, right? They helped keep me in the game, basically. And they helped me push me to Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss because I needed Razin to do that. But yeah, I don't know. For me, like, it was a long grind for me. I know a lot, like, when I see new accounts now, like, they have so much, so much good things. So much good things. Like, yeah. Even when I got Ninja, when people got Ninja for free, Ninja was so massive. Guys, Ninja was so massive. The game was totally different. Ninja was so massive. And like nowadays we get login champions, free champions, like very often with good regular consistency, and they're really good. Like UDK, Wukong, Artak, like some of these free champions are incredible, right? Are you playing with 2 clients? Yes, I am. Working on Faction Wars, Doom Tower hard, and grinding up champions, not sure which to prioritize. That's tough. I mean, Faction Wars is probably more immediately important because you have to grind the gear. But ideally, you grind Faction Wars, you build up champions for Faction Wars, and ideally, those champions can be used in Doom Tower as well. But yeah, I think Faction Wars requires more grinding because you're building up more champions. So I think ultimately, more of your attention probably goes into Faction Wars. And a lot of Doom Tower progression, like you might get stuck at a boss, but that's because you just don't have the champion. Like for example, Bommel. Bommel will hard stop you if you have no champions to deal with him. Have you ever thought about creating a new account and document things at the beginning? Yes, I have thought about it, but I already played 3 accounts. I played 3 accounts already. So I played these 2. Both of them are level 100 accounts. They're both in tier 6. Like I need to do, I do minimum 400k on each for CVC. And I play my test server account. So whenever the test server is active, I play all 3 accounts, which is way too much. I can't focus on, I need to focus on one. So if I played a brand new account, that'll be my 4th account, and I can't focus on it. So I wouldn't be able to give you guys like good content if I made like a brand new account. But it did cross my mind because I wanted to. I think it'll be decent content to show everybody. But I'm also like kind of interested in playing the early game again, just to experience it again, because I thought it was fun. When I played this game in the beginning, it was actually fun, right? I know, right? The game is actually fun, guys. But there's lots of aspects of the game that are not fun, like sorting gear and stuff like that. That's not fun. Once it gets overwhelming, the gear stuff is just massive drag. Like look at like my box. I hate my box being overflowed. I hate it. Like I have all this stuff to sift through. I hate it. And it just comes down to time, right? I don't have the time to do it. And I have to do it for multiple accounts. So imagine cleaning your box on 2 accounts. Eventually my test server account will be full of gear as well. And then I have to clean that up, right? So it's, it's just too much. It's too much. Right now it's too much. Hey Franco, good morning, man. Happy CVC, yeah. Yeah, my experiences are a little bit outdated. But I think the problem is right now, like a lot of people have mythicals. I think up until mythicals came, my experience was still relevant. But with mythicals, I'm sure the tag team scene is much more difficult. But honestly, the like for me, when I reached gold one tag team, like I had to use the same strategy that I tell everybody. It's basically you have to be very active in the last hour of tag team. Like when you're in silver 4, you have to basically hover around entering gold 1. You have to make sure your defense is solid. If you don't have a solid defense, you're dead. Like you're just not going to make it unless you have a really fast offense. So at that point, you just basically push, right? You just push, and then maybe you get lucky, maybe you won't. But if you do that enough, and as long as you keep progressing, your gear and getting champions and all that stuff, like you'll eventually make tag team 1, gold 1, in my opinion, right? Because if you just have a good enough defense and your offense can still win, like gain points, you should be able to do it. Seven. How do you get 2 clients to run? So you open player and play, open one account, you go to your task manager, you close this, so you end task, player and play, and then open it again, change your account, and then you can do that infinitely, depending on how strong your computer is. I don't use BlueStacks. BlueStacks is, it's terrible. Hey Chuki, yes. If you're selected, then I will send message to ask for more info. That's about it. And then we'll just talk in DMs. Is a 25x worth going for? It's basically a spender's trap, but it helps spenders gets the champions they want. For players that are not spenders, they should probably save their shards for guaranteed events or fusions, which are basically another form of a guarantee event. So if you're not a spender, then I would save my resources for more concrete rewards in that case. In tag team, you always buy the shards. Yes, because why not? Because they're worth it. You get an extra sacred shard, right? So you always buy the ancient shard, you always buy the void shard, and then you always buy the sacred shard. So I don't buy the accessories anymore because we have too many priority accessories that we need to prioritize, and I already have like enough of the refresh. There's this refresh set accessory, which is really good. I have enough of it. I don't need like perfect ones. I guess I'll do this now. Arena isn't fun even in the end game when you pretty much win pretty much anyone you face. No, that's not true. I'm super end game and I struggle. I'm like 50% win rate. If you play people your own strength, you're not gonna win every time, that's for sure. You have to compete against more people in gold tag team 1. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the statistics on that, so I can't really make any comments. Will you be getting hit more? Maybe. I don't know that exactly. So, but yeah, you're right. I haven't had the silver 1, gold 1 experience in a long time. Yeah, long time. Is it worth using Rotos with CFE in defense? Usually the attacker seems to be at an advantage since he picks who to choose. It's true. CFE and Rotos as defense is hard. Mainly because CFE can Rotos can be countered by UDK very easily. When I put my Rotos in my defense, it's not super strong. So I can tell you from experience that my Rotos team does not perform well in tag team defense, for example, at my level. Maybe at a lower level, it might be stronger because you just don't have that many people with UDK, maybe, like, or they don't know how to deal with Rotos properly. Maybe they don't have multi-hit champions. Yeah, it really depends. But Rotos definitely can be used in a defensive setting because of his passive. It gives him a turn, right? If he doesn't die right away. Silver seems to be full of whales that quit. Yeah, probably. I mean, they wouldn't be playing that much, so they're not like they're hitting you. Right? It's not like they're hitting you. Like, if you're trying to go for gold 1, the whales are not trying to go for gold 1, right? They're already in gold 1 probably. And they can, be there easily. But their playstyle is going to be much different than somebody trying to go for gold 1. Once I get... Don't buy the energy. I do buy the energy, but I'm thinking about when I want to buy the energy. I love 25x on voids, except when Boozer pulls on my account. Sorry, Inferno. I know, it's so bad, man. I feel bad about that. I don't think we'll ever do that again because I feel so bad about it. I don't like, not pulling good things for people that let me pull. Do you think it's worth it to put a couple thousand energy in Odin Dungeon for CVC? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna put some energy into CVC. Yeah, I'm gonna put some energy into CVC, and we'll go from there. So, okay, let's get this account back up. The main account. I can focus there. All right, what's happening? What's left to do? So dailies are done. I'm at 60k. I mean, pretty casual 60k. We haven't really done anything, right? Wish they gave us... Yeah, we have no roadmap. What's happening here? I mean, we don't have any calendar on what's happening, so we don't know what's happening on Thursday. I think a training event's going to happen because right now we don't have a training event, right? We don't have an active training event. So on Thursday, it might be some kind of training event. Maybe it could be a deck. We just had a path. It could be a deck. So training plus shards, maybe. Usually there's a shard event that starts on Thursday. It could be a training plus shard event. Did we just have a training tournament? We had a training event, but we didn't have a training tournament. I kind of want to save my books. I have so many champions to book. Like, I need to fully book. Like, I need to fully book this guy. I need to fully book this guy. I need to fully book this guy. That's three champions I need to fully book. And I think that's it. But yeah, 3 fully booked champions. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I was thinking about saving those books for like a training tournament, just to make it a little bit easier. No more training. Blink twice. Blink twice if you know what the Halloween fusion is right now. I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. Maybe that changes today. I don't know. But I don't know anything right now. So we had Freya's Soul training, 2x Ancients. We just had 2x Sacred, so it's not going to be 2x anything. It's not going to be 2x anything this weekend. It's going to be a progressive event, or it's going to be like a deck, or. But we just had a deck 2 weeks ago, and we just had a Hero's Path last week, so. Another fusion? Fusion will start. My guess for the fusion is it starts on the 31st, the Halloween. Because if we had a fusion coming on Thursday, which is usually the days they start fusion, we would have known about it and you guys would have seen videos on it today. But we don't know anything. So it's probably going to be on the 31st. We'll probably find out on the 25th. We'll probably get to release videos maybe next week. Show you guys how it works. And then, yeah. Hopefully it won't be dog shit. Wink. Just joking. Can you imagine? Could you imagine? Oh, that'd be so fun. That'd be such a fun giveaway. That'd be such a fun thing. It's like, oh, hopefully the next fusion won't be dog shit. Just kidding. Oh man, that'd be fun. Sorry, I'm looking for a piece of gear to ascend. Guess I'll do my Duchess. Attack. I guess I'll do this one, I guess. I actually need to do Shogun. I was thinking maybe hoping that they put out Shogun tournaments. That'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, I think they should probably put out Shogun tournaments. Just because it's been a while, right? And they already nerfed Shogun. Why not put it out? Like, I understand in the beginning they didn't want to because, you know, people... Shogun was a hard dungeon, but it's been out for a while. What am I doing? Spider. Sorry, I'm just going to get this done so I don't forget about it. Spider team. Don't judge me for my spider team. Was there any new codes? Not sure. No new promo codes for a couple weeks now, I think. Would you say 2x Sacreds is the best way to spend your Sacred Shards for new players? Because most fusions guarantees are priced way above 10 Sacreds per legendary. I mean, ideally, Sacred Shards are used to basically purchase a fusion. They're worth the most for points, right? They really help you in terms of points. On a 2x Sacred, yes, it doubles your chance, but it's still a pretty low chance of getting the legendary. So I wouldn't just go for like a naked 2x Sacred. Like if it was like a 2x Sacred on like a Tuesday and there's nothing else really going on, I wouldn't really put too much stock into that. Like I would still consider the value of Sacreds to be basically fusion food, right? Like you basically trade it in for a fusion. And that's would be my mentality. I would save Sacreds to basically try to finish a fusion. Oh, Dragon's Lair. Okay. I guess I picked the wrong thing. Dragon's Lair. I don't know if this can do it. 10 debuffs? Probably. Alright. It won't be dog shit, it'll just be a regular one. Hoping the next fusion will be an easy skip. It's an option. I mean, people say like, you know what I don't get? People like complaining, well not complaining, but they're, you know, they say like, oh, I don't want to, you know, they don't want to do too many events. I mean, no one's forcing you to do events. You can do whatever you want, right? So giving us options is a good thing. Like for example, when they give us progressive events, yes, progressive events seem to be happening all the time, but it gives us options, which is good. Honestly, it's good, and we don't have to feel like we need to do everything. And I think that's a big trap for people too, because they get stuck on thinking about doing everything, and that's just not the case. Like you just can't do everything unless you spend money in the game. Did I finish? Damn it. How many turns do you have to survive for you Ultra Nightmare Climber boss to get considerable damage done via poisons only without using any UK or Infinity comp? If you're just using poisons, I think poisons you average like, I forgot what it was, like 30,000 a turn or something. I forgot what it was. Yeah, I really don't remember exactly. So I can't even give you a rough estimate. If you don't have an unkillable team, your team needs to probably survive at least 30 turns, and then you probably are in range of like 3 key, maybe a 3 key Ultra Nightmare if you can survive 30 turns consistently. But I think that is just general, like a general team, right? With poisons and War Master and all that stuff, but not a very specific answer. Forging, how hard it is to get good gear. Yeah, the gear is an eternal grind, man. It's an eternal grind. So when people say it's like, oh, you have such good gear, well, they probably worked really hard for it, because you can get lucky on one piece, but you can't get lucky on a whole team full of good gear champions, right? It just takes you a long time of grinding, right? A lot of energy, a lot of like commitment. Like it's not even just like, hey, I'm gonna put like 100,000 energy into this dungeon and then pray that I get something good. It's like you gotta pray you get something usable that you can roll, and the rolls are good. And then if the rolls are no good, then you have to use your ores and re-roll them again and hope those are good rolls, and then roll those ones and then hope for good rolls. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's an endless thing. It's an endless thing. And personally, I like it. Personally, I like it. I like the gear grind. I like trying to get stronger, right? Sorry, we're still doing Sand Devil, yeah. Sand Devil's hard in Shogun? Yeah, right now it is, for sure. Because in the past, Shogun actually, you couldn't do it without blessings. Shit, man, like, I clicked the tournament and this is what happened. It's a little bit annoying. This happened already. Sorry, guys, this happened already. Yeah, thanks Nublet. No worries, man. Sorry, guys. We'll have to open it again. Yeah, like previously, Shogun required blessings, right? High blessings to do. And blessing can be a big bottleneck. It was a big bottleneck for me, at least, for the Shogun, if you don't like specifically focus on it. Faction wars. Without losing a champion. Show you the build on Staltish? Yeah, sure. How long into your play should you focus on fusions as a free-to-play player? It really depends on how active you are. Like you need to have some progress in some key areas. So for sure, like for example, dungeons. Like you're not going to be doing fusions, doing like dungeon 5. Like you know what I mean? Like you need to have some progress. there. You need to have some progress in arena, so you can't be doing like bronze 1 in classic arena trying to do fusions. And then you need to have access to shards. You need to have access to shards. So that's a big one, right? Especially when you're early, getting shards is very hard. So you have to have all these things kind of put together, like in a little, you know, little gift basket, and then the fusion starts, and then you start, you know, picking away at your gift basket, trying to finish off the fusion. Also, keep in mind you need silver. You need, you know, you need about 60 million silver over 2 weeks. That's a lot. That's a lot for a new player. Fusions nowadays are much harder. The requirements are much harder than they were in the past, like even 1 year ago. So doing fusions like a year ago were just much easier. 2 years ago, way easier. So I think realistically, like, yes, you can do it maybe in your first month. I've seen, I don't think it's, you know, a stretch for, if someone's mindset was, hey, I'm going to finish a fusion by month 1, I think it's, you know, of course doable. You know, you save every single shard. You save every single shard, you might come out of it with, if you finish your campaign and stuff, you might get like two sacreds in the first month, maybe 3. Maybe 3 sacred shards if you can do nightmare difficulty in the first month. So if you can get those 3 sacred shards in the first month, and then you know, basically save every other shard, you probably have enough to do a fusion after 1 month of progress. And if your dungeons are level 10, you probably could do it if you have the energy, if you have the time. Because after that, it's just spending gems for energy, and, you know, spending gems for like arena refills, and yeah, spending, yeah, gems for energy, like grinding campaign. The dungeon divers are also very hard too, because they're really high energy spending. I mean, even if you run them super efficiently, most dungeon divers are, you know, like almost 6,000 energy to complete over 3 days, which is, you know, insane, right? This is like insane amounts of energy. So, but it's tough. I would say realistically for most people, probably 3 months. If you play actively, I would say 3 months, you should probably be able to think about doing fusions. But I think if you were focused, you could probably do it in your first month or after 1 month of progress. But yeah, don't feel like you need to compare. That's the thing. Don't feel like you need to compare yourself and your own progress against somebody else, because not everybody's account has the same level of progress. So don't feel like the need to compare. Like, yes, somebody did it in 1 month. Does that mean you need to do it in 1 month? No, right? No. You don't need to do it in a month, but you know it's possible. If you want to do it in a month, you could do it if you wanted to. That's the thing. So, but don't feel bad for not being able to. This game is all about trying to pit us against each other. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they get, you know, whales or whatever to spend tons of money, because they need to keep up with the Joneses, right? They need to keep up with other whales. And, you know, that's kind of how it goes, right? But it's our, you know, I think it's our human nature, right? It's the game tapping into our human nature of being competitive and all that. So switch that out. All right, so let's get back into it. What are we doing? Look at this. I'm on the edge of gold 5. It's so sad. Actually. Oh, sorry, Stultus. Sorry, I'll get to that. Sorry. Silver is full of whales. Try hard. Alts that forget to set defenses. Hey, Kazi, how are you, man? Hey, Rabble, what's up? Definitely noticed it when I skip a fusion. Sorry, it's my fusion. Sorry. It's not easy. Yeah, Arman's is one that was worth it for sure. So congrats. 2k energy and Odin, 2 usable banners. Yeah, it's tough. Like think about it this way: the Odin dungeon. Like think about it this way: if you've been playing for years, right? Think about how long you've been grinding Dragon, Fire Knight, Ice Golem, and how many usable sets you have, and think about how much energy you put into those dungeons. So Plarium basically wants people to invest years of grinding of energy into the Odin dungeon in 3 months. So of course your gear sets are not going to be as good because you've only invested a fraction, right? You've invested a fraction of what you invest into your other dungeons. So, you know, so for me, like realistically speaking, if I spent, like 500,000 energy in my lifetime in Fire Knight, I have like maybe like 2 usable good sets of Savage gear. If I put 500,000 energy into Odin in 3 months, maybe I'll have a couple good sets. That's about it. And like, if you think about it, it's like, whoa, 500,000 K energy. Where are you gonna get that? Like, that's an impossible amount. I can't get that, right? I can't get that. I can't get that in 3 months. But that's what they're expecting people to do. They're basically condensing like years of farming into 3 months. It's actually ridiculously smart for Plarium because they're basically accelerating how much we spend in those 3 months because our gear is so far ahead, right? Like if people have been playing for years, their gear is so far ahead that they maybe feel the need to like, reach that level of gear. But in order to reach that level of gear, you're basically condensing years of farming into 3 months. And it's no surprise that a lot of people don't have really good sets of pinpoint because, like I said, you've been farming for years. Of course, you're going to have good gear, but you've only been farming for 3 months for the event dungeon, right? So you're not going to have good sets. You're not going to have good sets. And they're banking on people basically like, spending tons and tons of energy. So it's crazy. But the good thing is pinpoint is basically only used for PvP. It's a good set. It can be used anywhere, but it's kind of only used for PvP. At least having big, like large amounts of pieces on one champion. Like if you have like 2 pieces on a champion, you get speed boost. That's great. That's great for like normal players. But if you're like a top end player, you're going to want 4, 6 pieces, right? Probably on more than one champ. Like I can think of a couple champs that I would want it on, but I don't have it. And for me to think like, oh, I need to get a good set. Like I'm not going to go down that route, right? You know what I mean? Like, I know it's not something that I will get easily. Ores help. So it gives you extra chance at getting something usable. But yeah, I'm hoping to get one set that I can use, and I hope that it comes back. That's about it. Thor was your first fusion. Congrats. That's a really good fusion. So good job. You're thinking they're going to add pinpoint as a forge pass. Yeah, I was saying like they might put pinpoint as a part of a deck. Like as, they might throw in some, like how they did with Slayer gear or Stone Skin or Protection. They might put like a gear set, Deck of Fate or whatever. And I think it would be very popular. Like if they put like 6-star legendary pinpoint gear or mythical pinpoint gear, I think it would be very popular. Oh, sorry, I gotta show Stultus. Yeah, most people, I think, get the pinpoint set just to get 2 pieces just for some extra speed. And I think that works for a lot of people, like new, especially new players. Sorry, here's my Saltus. Basically, he doesn't need accuracy. He just needs survivability to take some damage from the dragon. His passive fires back the poison at the dragon, and it doesn't need accuracy. Okay, so yeah. War Master just for some extra damage against the boss, but he just needs to survive. I have a shield ring here, just to give him an extra buff, because then he attacks before Seer. So when he attacks, he gets an extra buff, and then Seer gets powered up. My Seer is pretty strong, so I don't really need the extra buff, but I mean, it's there to help. Let's do some Udon dungeons here, I guess. Actually, no, sorry, we're still doing the Sand Devil. I wanted to check how many points I have in Sand Devil, but every time I click the tournament, my game crashes. What do you think would be good stats for Odin in 4x Stone Skinned, 4x Pinpoint? I don't know, like 300 speed. It really depends. It depends on what level your progress is, right? Like for me, I would want my Odin to be at least 300 speed with at least 500 accuracy, 100% crit rate, and then as much crit damage as I can stuff on him. That's like for me. That's for me, right? Like, but yeah, it depends on where you're at in the game. Hey Wes, what's up, man? Do stage 10 in Odin. Is it worth farming as a new player? I mean, if you can pick up 2 accessories, you get 10 speed. I think it is worth it. But is it worth it for you to spend your life savings right now for CVC? Probably not. Because there's no fusion happening, there's no dungeon diver happening. You probably want to save your resources if you're new for those type of events, so you get more resources returning back. Or you can save your energy for like a fusion, which gives you potentially a champion back. But if you're just going to spend it right now for CVC points, it's probably not really worth it. Accuracy, yeah, accuracy is good for stuns. Yeah, the strip is very important too, right? Having the ability to strip off the buffs. How long to the next 2x event for ancient shards? Not too sure. We just had a 2x sacred last weekend, so that means this weekend we won't have it. So that means next weekend it'll probably be 2x something. I don't remember the order exactly. I think we had 2x voids before 2x sacred, so it might be 2x ancients next week. 3 nuts, yeah. A little bit lucky. A little bit lucky on the 3 nuts here. Can't you see an RSL helper? RSL helper doesn't show you, I think. Go for LA, go for Tekken. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, check the points. Good idea. I forgot about that. Yeah, good idea, guys. Okay. Oh, so smart. Totally forgot about that. So smart. I'm not too close. Chat so smart, guys. Shouldn't there be a fusion this week? Yeah, but I mean, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Usually, if we knew about it, we would have been able to tell you today. So far, we got nothing. So I don't think it's going to be this week. It's going to be next week, in my opinion. Should I invest in Odin 25 before it closes? Really depends. I mean, like I said, it's if you want 2 pieces for a speed boost, or if you're focused on arena, then you know, it's a good arena set, but you don't need it for really anything else in the game. Look at this, guys. 1500. 1500. I'm freaking maxed out everywhere. Look at this. 4 pieces. 4 pieces, guys. And some people won't even keep these. They won't even keep the legend, the 5-star pieces. Like, I gotta keep 5-star pieces. just to try to make sets happen, you know? Oh, it was alphabetical. Oh, I didn't know that. Just want to say thank you for your advice. Oh, thanks, man. No, thank you. Thank you for coming in here. Yeah, taking the time to say that. Thank you. Yeah, congrats on Thor. There'll be a fusion warm-up by now. I don't remember if fusion warm-ups happen every single fusion. I don't remember. I really don't recall. I have to like think about that a little bit. Generally, how many ancient shards should I have for a fusion? Instead of thinking like how many shards you have of one specific type, you have to think about how many points you can get for the shards that you have. So for example, most fusions, they have a summon rush component and a champion chase component. That's like a standard fusion. For summon rush, you're looking at about 3,000 points. 3,000 points, which is the equivalent of 6 sacred shards. And the point totals for each shard don't change for these kind of generic events, the summon rush and the champion chase. So whatever you get, the values for those don't change. Luckily, they don't change. Only for things like deck, Deck of Fate, Hero's Path, Titan events, then they do some tricky stuff and then they change some stuff on you just to keep people on their toes. But for like just generic summon rush and generic champion chase, the values of what you're spending don't really change. So for example, for summon rush, roughly it's about 3,000 points, which is the equivalent of about 6 sacred shards, which is the equivalent of about 150 ancients. But you don't want to use ancients during a summon rush, just because ancient shards are lower value. So you want to save your sacred shards for summon rush. For champion chase, it's a little bit more difficult because it's based on the quality of champion you pull. However, on average, each ancient shard has a value. You can math out the average for ancient shards, and then obviously you want to use your mystery shards too. So for a champion chase, you need roughly about 2,500 to 3,000 points, roughly. So let's say you always pull commons from mystery shards. You need to pull 3,000 mystery shards. That's not the case, right? Because you're going to get rares from mystery shards and stuff like that. So it's going to be a little bit less than 3,000 mystery shards. But you have to do like some math based on your shard inventory. And then you can determine whether you can complete the fusion. But you also have to keep in mind that the fusion lasts 2 weeks. So you're going to have some time to accumulate more stuff. A lot of it is just preparation. But preparation takes time, which I understand not everybody is going to invest. But if you fail a fusion because you don't invest time or you can't invest time, then that's kind of on you, right? So, a lot of people are like this. You can't just go in and say, I'm going to do this fusion without really thinking about doing the fusion, because that's just going in and failing fusions. So, hey, Rux, how are you, man? Is this your free to play account? I have 2 accounts, they're both free to play. People will not like me saying that my both accounts are free to play because I get content creator rewards, guys. Hey, I get content creator rewards. Oh, I said that by accident. Sorry. I get content creator rewards on one account. Do I pay for them? No. Have I ever paid for anything in this game? No. I spend $0 in this game. But yeah, people don't like me talking about my free to play account and it's calling it free to play. So, but yeah. Odin Dungeon is crazy. I've been farming for 4 weeks. Only have 1 crit damage amulet for Odin. Yeah, it sucks. So many fractions, right? It's tough. Do you know when legendary 1+1 is coming? You're at mercy. I don't know. It might come maybe this weekend. Who knows? I mean, we just had a 2x sacred event, right? It's a good time to throw it up because people will be confused and low on shards, usually. Okay, I want to probably pull some of these chests. I have 10 chests here. I was going to save it and pull it on video. Where my mysteries go? 360. I spent all training points to get Freya. So I saved all my soul stones. So I spent all my training points. I used all training points to get Freya, so therefore I had to train a lot of guys. So all my mystery shards were used up for that training, for that Freya guarantee. I also don't farm a lot of campaign. So in campaign, this is where you get the most mystery shards. I also don't farm a lot of campaign because I usually farm up my food in dungeons, like with solo champions and stuff like that. But I don't do a lot of campaign, so I don't get a lot of mystery shards. I buy mystery shards here, see, like I'm always on top of it, right? I'm on top of the market. This is where I get my mystery shards. But I don't stock up mystery shards quickly. And I used a bunch to do the Freya guarantee, so it's gonna take me a while. Best blessing for Loki. If you have the 5-star blessing, probably Brimstone. If you need him for boss damage. If you don't need him for boss damage, you probably pick Cruelty, so that he weakens enemy waves and all that stuff. Hope that's good. Sorry, I'm gonna open these chests. Can you show my Elva? My Elva is awful. I don't really use my Elva. Yeah, my Elva is awful. She's not used. So she's in like 4-piece protection. Why? Oh. Like I could add one more and add 12 speed, but I don't have polymorph on her, but she has no accuracy. Yeah. She's just not in a good build. The masteries make sense. Timely intervention, but I don't really use her. She's a good champion, but I don't really use her. Okay. Hope it's a good fusion. Yeah, I hope so too. I like good fusions. I do every single fusion on both my accounts, so you complete every single fusion since Bivol free to play. It can be done. Yeah. Can be done. Should I book Wallmaster or Thor? It's stuck on 19. Ooh, that's tough. Both of them are really good. Both of them are really good. Both of them are magic affinity. So on 19, it's force affinity. So if you're stuck on 19, both of them are not really going to help you that much. They do kind of the same thing. I think Thor is probably easier to use. Thor is probably better because he brings turn meter drop on his A1, right? So I would probably do Thor versus Wallmaster if your objective is to do Spider. Thanks, guys. But I'm sure this is a biased audience. Obviously, you guys are watching my stream, and you guys are, you guys are a biased audience. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate the support. Advancing in faction wars. Any tips? Tips. I mean, you're gonna have to start investing in champions, right? Depending on where it is. Definitely manual wherever you can. Stun sets help. So at least have one stun set that you can like move around. Try to take advantage of the free gear removals. Use your best gear when you're trying to push. When you're trying to push up stages, use your best gear so that you don't waste your time and stuff failing. So use like free gear removal token or whatever, and use your best gear on your team. Sometimes 16 a champion is enough. Like, but yeah, it really depends what you have. Tell you if you should summon now or wait for a 2x chance. If you're early game, you should always wait for a 2x chance. The reason is because you don't have much of a roster, and having 2x chances to pull will give you higher rarity champions on average. You should never pull for these 25x events unless you are close to Mercy, or you have a lot of shards, or you're after a very specific champion for a very specific reason. But for any early game account, you should look for 2x events or save for fusions if you have the capacity to finish fusions. Yeah, but then some people don't like that argument where you say anybody can become a content creator. That's not true, right? Not everyone can do it because people will make whatever whatever reason up. Um, and it's hard. People don't, it's hard, right? Not everyone can do it. But then I ask, did you try to do it? Did you ever try to do it? How do you know you can't do it? How do you know you can't do it? Did you ever try? Oh, you tried for a week. Oh, sorry. Sorry it didn't work for you for a week. Like, I don't know. I think that argument stands. I think it stands. Everyone can do it. Hey, I got void shard. That's great. I think when people say they dismiss it, saying that, oh, it's not a good argument because not everyone can be a content creator. People don't have the personality. People don't have the know-how to do all this technology stuff. Like, dude, man, freaking, like, you think people are just like born this way? Like, people are just born to know things? Like, I have to edit my own videos. I have to edit my own thumbnails, man. Like, I don't know how to do that stuff. I have to learn all that stuff. It takes time. Hey, I don't have time. How are you gonna build a really strong free to play account if you don't have freaking time? Like, that's the thing. Oh, I don't have time. Well, you don't have time. How are you gonna build a strong account? Like, that's dead stop right there. How are you gonna have an account, that's really strong if you don't even have freaking time? Like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm over it. It's all good. People have their own opinions. It is what it is. You can stack these. Yeah, you can stack these chests. If you did Freya by Champ Train, you can't be free to play because you probably had to buy a new mouse. How many days apart are your two accounts? About 3 months. About 3 months. I started my first account 3 months earlier, and then at the 3-month mark, I was bored with one account. So I opened a second account. And now I'm just playing 2 accounts because it's out of habit. Yeah, you can't replicate, right? It's incredibly difficult to replicate. And I get it, man. It's a huge barrier. It's a huge barrier, right? Because Plarium doesn't accept you based on hitting the requirements. Like, hitting the requirements is step 1, right? For the content creator program. The second requirement is actually them accepting you, and they have some arbitrary reasons why they do and don't. So, and I don't know that. So I'm very lucky to be in the content creator program because for some reason they chose me to come along when I was like, very small. Yeah, thanks guys. No, I appreciate the support. Thank you. Thoughts on Godforge? I haven't played it. The graphics look solid. Thoughts on Airbad as free to play? I think he's great. I love his methodical approach. I love that he is super detailed with his spreadsheets. Way more detailed than I can be, to be honest. Like, I'm functional and I can use a spreadsheet and I can, do all that stuff. But for me to keep everything like, in documented and in line, I think it's a little bit too much for me. Maybe if I only had one account, it might be a little bit different. But I like the way that he organizes things. So yeah, he's good. Good planning. Sorry, let me see. Content creation is very tough. Takes a lot of time. Some don't have the available time or resources. Yeah, exactly. It's that's a whole nother bag, right? There's a lot of things that restrict people, and one of them, the biggest one, is probably time. Sorry, I'm gonna get rid of some of this stuff here. We are in the forge. We will now craft 300 pieces of forge material. If everyone becomes a CC, there would be no CC packs. it's it's a big barrier. Like I said, Plarium won't accept everyone, even if you hit the requirements. So like the big example here is Saphira from HH Gaming, right? But I think the problem here is that they won't accept Saphira because they've already have Hell Hades, and maybe the channel they view is just an extension of Hell Hades' channel. I think that might be the difference, because you can argue that like, oh, YST is on the team, like Hell Hades team and all that stuff, but like YST is like a totally different channel, right? Whereas HH Gaming is just kind of like a spin-off of Hell Hades. So, I can see why they said no to Saphira, or they're saying no. Maybe he gets in one day. The other person that comes to mind is Cold Red. Cold Red's a really good content creator. I definitely recommend you guys look him up if you guys don't know Cold Red. He's a really good content creator. He's free to play. And yeah, he's not in the content creator program. He has 10,000 subs. He has 10,000 subs. He hits all the requirements. He's not in the content creator program. Why? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think the anyone can be a CC argument is strong, unless I don't want people to use that as a reason why, because most people will say I can't be a CC and then they never try. I didn't think I could be a CC. I don't think anybody did when they just first start, right? What's my editing software? I use YouTube. I don't really have editing software. I just use whatever YouTube provides, which is very basic, like cut out parts and all that stuff. Do you ever feel like a broken record repeating the same answers, the same questions to new players? Sometimes, yeah. But if I don't have a problem with it, then I'm going to answer. So, you know what I mean? If I have a problem with it, then I won't answer. How do you have so many gold chests? They just stack up. I haven't opened them, and so I had 10 gold stacks, 10 gold chests. I didn't open them for 10 weeks, basically. I was just like saving them for some kind of content, but it's mainly because I didn't need the resources. Like I don't need the shards or anything like that. It's just, yeah, not everyone can get it. That's the thing. Yeah, yeah, thanks for the support, guys. Sorry, I don't want to beat that topic anymore. It's just, it is what it is. They don't want Saf because he calls them out. Nubs is in HH, yeah, but Nubs was part of the program before he joined HH. 8 Sacred Shard, didn't get lucky with 2x, grinded Cronam. Day 65 of Loki in many areas. 6-starred him. I mean, give Loki Brimstone and he can help your clan boss. I don't know what else. You need to build like a clan boss team properly to do Nightmare. Nightmare, when it starts to get hard, you need increased defense, you need decreased attack, you need some kind of healing, whether it's leech or lifesteal. They don't like Saf because he calls them out. I think Saf, if Saf was separate, then he would probably get in. I agree. Saf's very knowledgeable. He's very smart. I love his type of content, where it backs up what you do in game with sound data, right? Like that's kind of like my approach. And I look for that when I play a game. Like I look for reasons why to do things. You know what I mean? Like if I tell you guys, hey, I'm going to do this, but this is the reasons why I'm doing this. I'm not just going to say, hey, I'm going to do this because I don't know why. I'm just going to do it. Like that's not my style. That's not my style. If I said, hey, I'm going to pull shards today, because I just feel like YOLOing. Honestly, that's a reason. That's a reason. But at least you guys are aware that that is like my current mental state. And I'm like, oh, I just feel like YOLOing. Okay. But I always want to have reason when I do things, right? So if you said, like a lot of people say, like, why do you have so many red dots? Why don't you get rid of the red dots? I'm like, well, there's a reason why there's red dots. The reasons why is because those red dots are resources that never expire. Why do I have to claim them? I don't need them. I might need them in the future. And when I need them, I will claim them. That's about it. That's my reason. And I think it's a very sound reason. But some people, they don't like that, right? They don't like the red dots. It bothers them. And then therefore they have to claim it. And that's fine. That's their reason for claiming the red dot. For me, it's not a reason, not a good enough reason for me to remove the red dot. Just something. Cold Red will have a stream in 5 hours and does takeovers on Tuesday. Yeah, he's good. He's fun. I was in his stream last week. He's fun. I strongly recommend you guys check out Cold Red. If you guys don't know him, he's big. He's big now. He's like a bigger content creator now. He's like 10K subs, right? He's very solid. How many rivals have you opened without getting a mythical? 140. So I'm like, yeah. I don't have a single mythical outside of the free ones that you can get. Mikage, I have Carnage ready to go. Not now to Divine Speed Gear. I mean, you know, I won't say no to 6-star Divine Speed Gear, but yeah, RSL Helper is doing the heavy lifting right now, so it gives me a chance to catch up on chat. Have you thought about multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube? I'm a partnered Twitch streamer. I used to be a full-time Twitch streamer back in the day. Well, not really full-time, but I basically do two things. I work a full-time job, so I've always been fully employed, like full-time employed. And I've always tried to shoehorn in my gaming hobby on top of work. So Twitch is way more time investment. Streaming in general is way more time investment. For the return is very low. So for me, I used to work 8 hours a day, come back from my, you know, basic 9 to 5 job, and then, you know, eat something, and then stream for like 5 hours. So it's like basically doing like a part-time job. And with streaming, you have to have a schedule because it's like a TV, right? It's like TV schedule or whatever. And people always want to catch you live, and they have regular, you know, habits and all that stuff. So it's very, very difficult when you know, need to take a day off or anything like that. So streaming is very difficult, and it doesn't pay you very well. There's, you know, if you're doing it for money, it's extremely hard. YouTube, on the other hand, you can schedule your videos to occur at certain times, regular times, so that your viewers can always tune in. This is like just basic, like YouTubing, right? Or basic like streaming. You stream at the same time. You try to be consistent. You know, you upload videos. You try to be consistent. And YouTube is just way more flexible. And like, you know, I have a family and all that stuff. And like I said, I work full time, so it's having flexibility is very good. But I stopped Twitch basically when my child was born. Just didn't have time for it anymore. Hey, yeah, welcome from India. Welcome. Enjoy your raid. Yeah, 2 months in, that's the fun part. Is my OCD enough for you to click your dots? No. Why 1x1 forge instead of 10x? Because the helper is doing it all for me. So I basically select 300 pieces, and then it just automatically does it. It's going to keep the pieces that I have parameters for, and it's going to remove the pieces that don't hit the parameters. So it's already deleting them. It's selling them at the same time. So instead of doing 10 and then sifting through them because my box is full, this does it one at a time. It never reaches my box. Have you watched this vid from Sam Solstice? I need to stop watching Bad CCs. I did watch that. Um, you know, Sam is fun. I like her. I like her content. It's very fun. It's cheeky, and she is kind of like, it's kind of trollish. And I don't know to the what extent that is how she feels. Like, like she says some not so fun things about people and all that stuff. And I don't know if she means it or it's just part of the video or whatever. But I think it's fun. If it's good fun and it's not malicious, then I think it's fine. Her content is different. I think her editing quality is very good. Even though her videos are very short and she doesn't put many out, I think they're fun. And I think she does it because she likes to do it. That's the thing. And you can tell she likes to do it. And you can tell in her quality that she likes to do it. So it's good. I hope she puts out more. I like them. They're fun. Yeah, she makes fun of Cole Red. I told Cole Red about that and I was like, hey man, sorry, we got a little laugh at your expense. So and she did that video really fun, really good. Purchase a bold takeover and mention your Discord legit. So basically, people have been asking me like, oh, how much you charge and all that stuff. Like usually I never offer any kind of paid service. There's lots of people that offer paid service. Like, hey, I'll make you a team for whatever dollars or whatever. People have paid me. They've like tipped me and all that stuff. They're like, hey, I'll give you this much money if you just do this for me real quick. I'm like, okay, fine. Right. Like, but I don't like to like say like, oh, I'll bill you this team for whatever money. Like, I don't do that because basically like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. But I recognize that people like they need specific help. And I don't really want to say, no, I don't have time for you. But if you really want my time, I will put like a monetary amount on it just so I don't have people asking me all the time, right? Like, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? I'm like, no, I can't do this for you because I don't have time to do this for you. Like, I can't make you a clan boss team from nothing, test it out, make sure it works, and then tell you what to do with it, like tell you how to play it, right? Like, I can't. I can't make you a Hydra team, play it out, do all this stuff, test it out, gear it out for you. Like this stuff takes time. Like for me, like each champion could take me like an hour to figure out sometimes on my main account because I have so much gear, so much options, so many champs. Each champion takes me like an hour to gear sometimes. So I don't want to, and I also don't want to speed through somebody else's account. Like I don't want to be like, hey, I'm going to build your team for you in 5 minutes. Yeah, the speeds match whatever site the speeds match Deadwood Jedi's. Here you go, follow the guide and good luck. I don't want to do that, right? So at the end of the day, like I ended up deciding on a monetary amount, and then if you are interested, then it's there. But I'm never gonna advertise it. Like for me, it's not about money. It's just putting the option there if someone wants to. But I'm never gonna advertise it, to be honest. For me, I just do a free takeover every month, one per month, as long as it's not abused. And I just do it for content, just to make a video and just to help people. That's pretty much it. But yeah. Sorry, I need a second here. I love reading chat, but I need a second. I was working this optimizer thing. Oh, thanks, Gerhard. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for dropping by and saying that. Boost Daddy? Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, Ravel. How do you find manage your game with your main job? It's very difficult. I sleep about 4 hours a day. So I started to stream about 4 a.m. It's 6:15 right now. I slept at about midnight. So I sleep about 4 hours a day. I know that I need at least 2 hours of sleep. Because if I get less than 2 hours of sleep, I definitely can't function. But I can function pretty good with 4 hours of sleep, at least for now. But I try to get more on the weekends. The other difficult part is my work is I have to get up relatively early. So that's another big issue. Friendly banter. Show my Mikage masteries. Sure. I'll show you on my second account. Here's my Mikage Masteries. Yeah, the inbox. Oh, 370. Yeah, you're getting to the end of your raid career. Why are you doing one instead of 10? Because it's auto sold, so I don't have to deal with it. We could have a forge. We could have an auto forge party, guys. I'm watching you auto forge while I auto forge. First I've seen you do, bro. Been watching long time. Any tips on fusion? Oh, there's lots of tips on fusion. You probably have a week before the next fusion, so I would suggest saving some resources if you plan on doing the Halloween fusion. That would be my guess. Nothing is set in stone or anything like that, but that would be my guess. Fusion would be on Halloween. You're surprised by Thor in Arena. Yeah, he's really good. He's solid. 4 hours is not good. Yeah, it's not good. It's very little. You asked a question on my old video regarding Emic unkillable without him book. Now today I have used 2 books and look at those 2 books land unkillable. Well, I mean, I think I did answer you. I said he needs books, yes. So now you acquired the books. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2, you need whatever team you're trying to build with Emic. Yes, he can be part of unkillable teams, but you need the proper team. And then you need the gear. How do you survive sleeping 4 hours and taking care of a child? Basically, I have to take a nap in the middle of the day. So I try to sleep on my bus ride home. Well, not bus ride home. Yeah, but basically my commute, my transit home. Take a quick nap. And then before my kid comes home from, care, after school daycare or whatever, or daycare, I get to basically squeeze in a small nap, and then that gives me enough gas to make it to the end. But yeah, I recognize something's got to give, right? Something's got to give, and it's probably going to be Raid Shadow Legends if I am to be fully responsible person. Yeah, thanks. I recognize it's not the best, but can we have your cell setting file? I use Little Gaming's cell setting file. So if you guys don't know who Little Gaming is, he actually put in a ton of work. He's a smaller content creator, but here, let me help you guys out. He's a smaller content creator, but he put a ton of work into this cell file. And obviously give him lots of love for it. But here's his channel. You guys can check him out. Little Gaming. And he has his cell file here. So his most popular video. So he has the world's first all-level RSL cell file. So definitely check it out. You guys can download it. He has made like a bunch of versions of it, so he's been updating it. But definitely check it out. He seems like a pretty chill dude. Very nice dude. And yeah, give him some love. Give him some love for that file because it's really good. I modified it like a couple things, but honestly, it works fine as is. So it's a very end game file though. But he does have a late game file, so it's less strict. First time getting the stream. Thanks for the advice. Hey, no worries, man. Thanks for being here, Gerald. 2.5 month player. Luckily pulled Maneater as well, Painkeeper. While I can farm the gear, I get them to speeds in your video. Okay, so I don't know a specific tune offhand with Painkeeper, Maneater, and Emic. So definitely, but those champions can definitely do it. It's just you have to find the right speed tune and then learn how to play it if it's not full auto. So there's a couple things you need to do, right? You need to tackle yourself. I can't give you specific advice on that right now. So here, same thing. I'm just gonna craft a bunch of stuff. Make sure you leave my boy a like. Thanks, Elite. Thanks, man. Thanks for dropping by. My cellular file is not selling automatically. It has to be pretty updated. It's a relatively, well, you have to have it active, right? So for me, like you can see my settings here. Auto sell, you have to have that on. So make sure you have auto sell, right? So I've set it to basically make 250 items, run effective resources, auto forge, auto sell. And then my sell file is here. See, it's a variation of Little Gamings. It's merged by a clanmate. And then, yeah, it has everything here. So like I said, it's a pretty endgame file, so it's only going to keep some of the better pieces. I have access to Dragon 13 and 15. That means you should probably be able to finish a fusion. But, I mean, you're probably not going to have enough feed gear to make multiple champions like over 200. Like, that's my feeling, right? So, I think for Maneater teams, you probably need at least 200 speed. We got what, like 240 at least, I would say. But I'm not 100% sure. You have to find the proper speed tune and then build accordingly to match if you can't use the calculator yourself to make your own team. So building a clan boss team, it takes time, right? So for you, I would suggest stock up resources before you commit to building a clan boss team as complicated as an unkillable team that you don't have experience with. So I would save up resources, save up glyphs, make good gear, and then tackle it once you're ready. Like you educate yourself. Ideally, you have somebody that can help you, and then jump into it. You missed Ninja. Is there another way to do Sand Devil? You need Godseeker and Yuri. It's not about Ninja. The easiest way is to find Godseeker and Yuri. If you don't have her, it's very tough, especially doing higher levels. If you don't have her, you could go for Revive on Death. Revive on Death can work. To reduce. Should I wait for a day? Is it worth it to stock up all affinity potions we potentially need for a fusion, or is it doable to wait until it's announced? It is doable to wait. So sometimes if it's not a traditional fusion, you don't have to, train up stuff, then you don't need any potions at all. So then you don't have to waste your time and energy doing it. Your stamina is insane. I don't know. My wife would say different. But I get pretty beat. Sleeping in short periods isn't bad, but doing it while as well, it's a known military tactic. I, obviously physically I'm probably trained to run on less, but I get pretty beat like midday, not gonna lie. I'm probably older than what you guys think too. So my age has been catching up to me a little bit. What's my day job? It's very steady. I don't want to get into specifics about my day job, but it's just like a steady hours and stuff. Look at this cell phone. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Keep some weird 5-star gear. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look through it too deeply, but it works pretty well. Little Gaming is GOAT. Those cell files save my sanity. Yeah, he put a lot of work into those cell files, so he definitely deserves some love. So I try to give him love whenever, whenever I can. I shared the cluster, I shared my cluster, his file when he first made it. And then it's been improved many, many times already. So still pretty strict, yeah. Yeah, early mid-game players they don't even need a cell file. Like an early mid-game player, like you won't even have 1,500 pieces often, right? Hit the optimize and save it fixed. That's for me, yeah. There's a manual setup for Nightmare. Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? Like if you're not used to clan boss teams, you're not going to be able to understand how to read the freaking setups. Like you don't even understand like what's going on. Like I remember doing budget unkillable teams and I had to do a different setup for affinities. I had to switch the stun targets. So you have like multiple stun targets for each different affinity. And then once you change difficulties to Nightmare, I had a different setup as well. So it's like, I literally had like a piece of paper that told me like what to do. Like I'm like 1, 2, like 1, 2, like it's freaking like a code or something. Like you just follow the piece of paper. It's like, okay, it's spirit today. Okay, on Nightmare. Okay, I need to sub this guy out. Okay, click 1, 2, 3, auto. Okay, got it. Like it's so ridiculous. And if you're not like paying attention, you're gonna mess up the run. So for someone that has like no idea what they're doing, like it's too much. They're just gonna press auto and then the run fails, and then they're like, hey, this team doesn't work. You're bad. I hate you. But yeah. Let's see. Built a bellower for campaign farming. Yes, yes. Your first campaign farmer is massive, massive. Is like a game-changing moment in your raid life. You never knew someone actually made it. Great. There you go. It's gonna be game-changing for you too. Are you open to spend money maybe in the future, or pretty much non-negotiable? I'm free to play for life, man. I'm never spending a freaking penny in this game. You could tell me that sacred shards for $1 and I'd be like, no thanks. Because there's no need for me to spend money in this game. Like I could easily spend money in this game. You could actually, since I'm doing this like for content, like I could buy shards. I could buy shards, make a shard video, and then basically expense off the shards. Like I can spend $100 on shards and then basically put that on my tax return and say that's an expense. It's a business expense. Is that wild? That's wild. That's wild. Like I'm like, whoa, it's a business expense? That's wild. You're still spending money, so you're not like saving $100. Like let's say I spend $100 on shards. You're not saving $100, but you're getting, some of it back, right? By reducing your taxable income or whatever. So yeah, I could easily spend money, but I don't see a need to, and I like playing free to play. Like that's the thing, right? Like people ask me, it's like, why are you free to play? Is it a joke? I'm like, are you poor? Like, can you not afford to? I'm like, of course I got I'm like, I don't need to spend money in this game because I enjoy being free to play. I like having the restrictions against me because the restrictions means I need to care more about the game. Let's say I didn't have restrictions. Let's say I can run myself to 0 shards every day. I could have no shards going into fusion. What is the importance? Like there's so much of the game that you're missing. Like you don't need to plan anymore. You just go into fusion and say, oh, I'm low on shards. I'll buy shards. I have no energy. I'll buy energy. So when you have restrictions, it's like a different, it's an additional part of the game that you have to be involved in, which I enjoy. I enjoy that. So that's why I would never change. I would never spend money in this game. It's just not for me. And in general, in my approach for games, I don't really ever change. I don't really ever spend money in games because like even like I know it might be weird, like, but even when I was like growing up, I never bought like consoles. Like my last console was a Super Nintendo. So if you guys are old enough to have a Super Nintendo, that's how roughly my age. But I never have a console, never had a PlayStation, Xbox, nothing. Because I didn't like buying games. I didn't like buying, like, I didn't think spending money on cartridges and stuff was a good thing because it's just, you know, you're spending a lot of money on that stuff. So for me, like when I had a PC, I would get like, I would play like free games, you know, free games or games I would like basically like get like ripped copies of, you know, like from back in the day, like, you know, you had the CDs, right? You had the CDs, you know, ripped copies of those games. But I basically didn't like spending money in games. But that's just my approach. I don't know. And then naturally, as I get older, I just don't spend money in games. But that's probably like my own OCD, right? My own psychological thing. Uh, Nuker, Little Miss Annie, Skullcrown, or Gembo. I like Skullcrown if you're early. Skullcrown brings an arena aura, so she's very good. Oh, thanks, Dragon Sight. Thank you, man. Have a great day, you too. Uh, oh, sorry, I saw somebody say this chat just moves around. Can't keep. Hold on. I'm a parent of 2 children. I'm exhausted after work and the chores. 100%, man. 100%. Especially if they're super young, man. Totally understand. Like, child is life changing. Child is absolutely life changing. Would you consider starting a third account? I did mention this in the stream earlier. A third account, I did think about it, but it's just actually it would be a fourth account because I have a test server account that I play with some regularity. But it'd be very difficult to open another account. Did you have any thoughts of calling your YouTube quits? Briefly, after the drama stuff, it was very tough. It was very tough mentally. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot in a very short amount of time. I did feel like maybe I was a little bit emotional about it initially, and then after I thought about it a little bit, I decided on what to do and how to respond properly. But I think quitting YouTube was a very quick thought, but I never really seriously considered it. But I can understand how people, yeah, I can understand more people now and why mental health is a big thing. Because honestly, the internet and social media is for sure rotting people's brains. Like, it's for sure rotting people's brains. That's just like my opinion, but to me, it's like a for sure thing. Like, brains are being rotted by the internet and social media. Yeah. How much do you prioritize masteries? That grind is tough. Um, Key champions, I would put masteries on. It really depends on the content that they're tackling. But usually I would save it. Save the masteries if I can. My day job is at the Platinum office. Are you trying to say Plarium office? Because my account is so boosted. Yeah, I work for Plarium, guys. Oh my god, he figured it out. You guys figured it out, guys. I work for Plarium. Oh wow, there's 350 people watching. Hey, welcome everybody. I don't keep the views. I don't keep the viewer count. I don't keep the viewer count in sight because I don't want that to affect how I interact while I'm streaming. I want to interact with whoever wants to interact. And I know some people act differently when they have very like low view counts or more view counts. But I would just want to stay the same, right? And I think that's the most healthy thing, because watching like view counts go up and down is very unhealthy, especially if it affects you. But yeah, welcome all 350 people watching. Yeah, this is also the thing. You know, actually, I was gifted an account when I first started this account. Somebody was giving away their account, like a level 40 or something, or level 50. At that time, the account was like, "Oh, this account's so good, right?" Like it has. I remember it had Seeker. I was like, "Whoa, this champion looks so cool." It's like a bat, and it had the increased attack and turn meter boost, which was really nice, especially when you're early on, and then you didn't have anything. So I was like playing it for a little bit, and I was like, I don't know any of these champions. I'm like, I don't know any of these champions, and I was like, this this account's no fun. I was like, this account's no fun. And then I ditched it, and I just kept with my shitty old like level 20 account, and I just grinded it up. That's the thing, right? When you're gifted something, you don't really appreciate it, right? Sometimes. So for me, I didn't appreciate that account because I didn't grind for it, and I didn't want it. So I just kept on my old shitty account, and I grinded that up. Do you have a lot of disposable income? I'm financially sound, I would say. So I'm conscious of, spending and stuff, but I wouldn't say I'm in like super great financial um, position, and I wouldn't say I'm in bad financial position. I'm just normal. Bro doesn't buy food because it's a waste of money. I work in finance or something. Okay. Um, yeah, thanks for your support, guys. I appreciate that very much. Hey, finally get a catch stream. All right, finally caught up with the chat. How important mastery is with Arbiter? Um, Timely intervention helps because it's really good for revivers, and Arbiter is a really good reviver when you need to kind of stabilize, because then you can revive your team and then turn meter boost them, so then they get more turn meter, they get more life as well. So having timely intervention is very useful, but you can definitely save the masteries on Arbiter when you're starting out, because her main use is like speed aura and then her initial boost, right? Her increased attack and her boost. So mastery is not super important. If you want to save it, I would, at least for short term. Deleted Twitter. You already have seen an improvement. Yeah, thanks guys. I deleted Twitter. Is not worth it. Worth farming. Thanks guys. No, thanks guys. No, appreciate you guys. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the engagement. It's very helpful. Look at this. I farmed this, but I don't ever craft it. Should probably craft some. Let's see what happens. I should probably craft more of this. Let's do 100 more. Lure of Steel is all I have on Arbor. Yeah, Lure of Steel gives you a little bit extra speed, right? What time is it for me? It's 6:43 in the morning. So. Is it worth farming Fire Knight 21 just because of affinity? Fire Knight 21, I mean, is slightly better than 20. It's slightly less efficient because you're paying more energy. But if the affinity issue is causing you to fail, then doing 21 makes sense. Yes. I started the stream at 4 a.m. Yes. Usually I start streaming at about 3:30 in the morning, but I slept in 30 minutes. I'm usually up about 4 a.m. every day. Mainly because, actually the biggest thing is because Plarium works on, opposite time schedule. So Plarium works off UTC time. So in UTC land, they're 7 hours ahead of me. So for me, if it's 6:47 for me, so for them it's like lunchtime. It's like 1:43 in the afternoon. So the big thing for me is that I live in North America. So for North American content creators, we have a very large disadvantage because of the time zone with Plarium. Because Plarium, they have regular office hours and stuff like that. And with Plarium, they announce news during office hours. So they will announce news during office hours, and then they'll basically tell the content creators, hey, like we have some news for you guys. If you guys want to get a head start on this, here's the news. You guys can work on it for 2 hours and then post it. So for me, most North American content creators, they're sleeping, right? They never get the news. Therefore, they're never the first person to put out the news and, react on it or whatever. They're never the first people to get the news out. So for me, waking up early has some advantage because I get to catch some of that news earlier and then get to relay that out as content. It also gives me more time to kind of like think about things, right? Because if I see the news early, then I can like think about things and what to do. The other big disadvantage is when events start. When events start, they start super early in the morning, like 2 a.m. 2 a.m. for my time. And it makes it really hard for me to be available during events when events start. So like, for example, if we know like a hero's path is starting and I want to see the hero's path because I want to make some content on it, or I want to math it out, or I want to break it down, it's very hard for me because it's 2 a.m. my time. So I have to stay up until 2 a.m. or wake up at 2 a.m. to, check out this event if I want a timely video, right? So for most North American content creators, it's impossible for that to happen. But for me, like I definitely put in the extra work so that I can, put out timely videos. Because I can easily like wait 12 hours and then put out a video, but it's no longer going to be relevant, right? So when people say like they can't put in the time or effort to be a content creator, it's a lot of time and effort, especially for me, because I'm North American time zone, right? I don't get the advantage of being, I don't get the advantage of getting events. I don't have the advantage of the time zone. I'm at a huge disadvantage actually from EU content creators because they get the news when they're eating lunch. Like it's like, oh, I'll stop lunch now. I'll go make a video. Not for me, I have to get up, right? I have to wake up. I have to be in like a right state of mind to like make content. Hopefully, like I think my viewers appreciate that, right? So, it's good positive feedback, and that's why I keep doing it. Also for my own sake, because I like being ahead of the game, right? I like being mentally ahead of the game. But it is a pretty big effort on my end to get that stuff out. Congrats on Centranos. Yeah, thanks. Have you been recognized in public? No, I'm not that famous. How many points do you usually put up on CVC? For personal CVC, I could do 400 very easily. So I do 400 very easily, and then, I do whatever if I need to do extra. But we have strategies and plans on what to do. Kale's losing its place in most places was natural progression for your starter. Where do you divert from him? When you find a better starter, basically, a more worthwhile starter. Kale's pretty good because he can scale well against bosses. So he's good against Dragon, and it's good against Clan Boss, especially in the beginning. My newest Wixwell Clan Boss guy is gone. He shouldn't be gone. He should be still there. Wixwell teams still work. That's the thing. Wixwell teams still work. They just require more effort in building them out. So previously I had some very low effort Wixwell teams, like very minimum requirements, like for champions and gear. Those teams won't work now. So, but they still work if you just add better champions or add better gear. I was thinking about making another Wixwell video, basically finding like a new minimum, like, you know, like I found like the minimum. I found like some pretty bottom minimums for teams, but the bar has been raised. So I was thinking about looking for another minimum, but haven't had to really had the time to go and play in a test server for that. But you hate the timing issue. They ignore redundant content. That's why you want to be early. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Muhammad, exactly. There's, you know, there's some content that if you put it out late, it's not a big deal, but news is usually something you want to be ahead of. So what time do you go to sleep and wake up so early? I usually go to sleep around midnight. So 12, and I wake up at 4. So I've got about 4 hours. If I want to sleep in, I sleep until 5. But then if I sleep until 5, then probably will miss the early move, I will miss some early stuff. Yeah. Best gear for Newt. Savage gear if you need it to hit your cap. Sorry, I need 1 second here. You guys can watch this account do stuff. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for the support. Hi, Katoon and Kale. Oh, really? Should be there. I didn't touch it. I don't want to mess around with it right now. It should be there. I don't know. Not sure. Maybe you can type in Wixwell, search Wixwell for my channel. Check out MTG Jedi's video for new Wixwell 1 key. Okay. Yeah. Definitely check it out, guys. Wixwell magic for Amius. I think he would steal your stuff. Or I don't know what counterattack turns into, what he turns counterattack into. Oh, the wife's not happy about it. It's tough. I think, yeah, it's tough. The sleep is tough. You know, it's hard, man. It's not enough hours in a day, you know? Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Decreased speed in Hydra won't be meta anymore. Oh, because it's kind of true, right? Because like from playing Hydra, you want the heads to basically cycle through their full protection buff ASAP. So if you're in the end game, you're able to kill the Hydra heads pretty quickly, and then if you're cycling through Hydra heads very quickly, that means they are coming back with full damage mitigation. You want the Hydras to quickly get out of that so that you can do damage to them again. If they do not get out of that quickly, then you are taking many turns hitting a Hydra head that takes no damage. So that's kind of the idea. And that is where the meta is kind of going towards. Like slower teams, slower damage dealers, maybe even removing decreased speed. We don't know. But I think that's what people are kind of doing. Wixwell team with only rares just to prove it's done. It's already been done. Wixwell team with only rares can be done, and I think it's already been done. So it's not a. I mean, you need Wixwell, and then you need rares, so it can be done. It was done before the update. I don't know if it can be done now, but most likely it can still be done now. Is being free to play CC worth the time and energy you're putting into it against the reward you get at CC? Well, I don't really do it for rewards. So people think that I kind of like do CC for the rewards. I really don't, because I don't really use the rewards. See, like I have 152 legendary books. I don't use this, right? Like the legendary books I get weekly, right? It's not like, you know, it's not anything I hide. I get these books weekly. But I never run out of these books. I'm never in, you know, and the gems, like I have 18,000 gems. I don't use the gems. So I don't really grind for the rewards, right? Like I have a secondary account, it's fully free to play. And I play this account perfectly fine. Like it's, you know, it has 1 billion silver. This one, my main account has 1.5 billion silver, but that's probably because I spend more time grinding on it. I spend more time crafting stuff. But my alt account, which is fully free to play, I don't have, you know, any kind of content creator boost or any like rewards or anything on it. You know, it has plenty of resources. I do everything I want on it at an end game level, except for obviously running like platinum and stuff, but that's because I don't invest as much time into this account, like making builds, farming gear, crafting gear, all that stuff. But I have 80 books on this account. And so for me, like I don't really grind CC for additional resources. Like it's helpful, like gems and energy is helpful, but I don't really grind CC for it. I just do it for fun. And right now it's really fun. So I enjoy it. And I like seeing progress, right? So for me, maybe my progress has kind of slowed down in Raid Shadow Legends, right? So I'm looking for progress, like just like in life, right? Kind of like in life. You always want to progress. Being stagnant is something that really just robs you a lot, right? So for me, I like progressing, and right now my YouTube channel is progressing. So I like to see it progress. Therefore, I put more time and energy into it. You know, just kind of like that, right? That kind of idea. You could say that about your like career. I want to see my career progress. Like you could say that about your job, right? What is up, Dementia? What's up? Amius. Yeah, Amius is something that gets requested actually a decent amount. Man, I hate Amius so much. It's mainly because Amius is... It's mainly because Amius... The mechanics on Amius are so not fun. And they kind of randomly happen. So it's hard to explain to someone what exactly is happening if you don't fully know what is happening. It's like I know what Amius does, but it's like, okay, something just happened. What just happened? And now something else is happening. And now the run is over. So it's kind of like, a lot of times I just kind of like throw a bunch of stuff in there and then just let them do their thing. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But obviously like for Amius, he has something that heals himself. He has an attack that heals himself. So you can bring like, for example, heal reduction. You can bring like a heal reduction debuff. It helps. But I've made many teams that doesn't require heal reduction. Like look at the heal reduction options on this team. Like on my roster, like basically nobody. Like I have more 2 Macabre. So for this fight, I probably wouldn't use more 2 Macabre, or I wouldn't use any heal reduction. The other thing is you bring HP burn against him. That's actually a good amount of damage. You bring brimstone against him. That's basically most of your damage for most people. I would say 99% of people use Brimstone to kill Amius. The rest of it is basically just surviving. So you have to find ways to survive against Amius. And a lot of that is basically just like, we'll do a quick run here. So we'll just do a quick run here. I haven't had time to run it on my alt account, but we can try to do it here. So I don't know which move he's going to use first. So here's the thing. I don't know which move he's going to use first. Is he going to use the stun first? Or is he going to use the strip first? So I'm just going to use my A1s. So let's see what kind of move he's going to use first. So his first move is the heal one. So that's the A2, right? So attack all enemies before increased duration of all buffs. Heals. So he heals with his A2. So that means he's going to use his A3 next, which is remove. He's gonna stun us, right? So he's going to stun us. So now we know. So we end battle. So we go back in. So he's going to use his heal first. So we don't want to use any of our big attacks, right? We don't want to use any of our big attacks. So A1s work fine here. Okay, so now he's going to use his stun ability. So now we want the block debuffs out. And we also want to debuff him. Wait, sorry. Do we want to debuff him? Sorry. Is this his swapping? His debuff swapping ability? Removes any debuffs, negative, effective. Yeah, so he's going to cleanse himself. So we don't want to debuff him. But we want to give block debuffs to our team if possible. So we don't want to debuff him. So we want here block debuffs. There's the block debuffs. All right. We don't want to debuff him, but we want to deal damage to him. So now we can do like the ally attack and all that stuff here. I probably messed that up. I wasn't supposed to decrease his attack. So you can kind of see here, now we have 2 turns. We have 2 turns before he transforms, or we have 1 turn. Sorry, he's going to transform in 1 turn, his Archon Ascendance. So we have 1 turn to deal damage to him before he starts doing stuff. So here, you know, we could do Hex and Leech. We can just A1. Let's try to take his, we can A1. The A1 on Tila can take away the increased attack. This is very important to keep your team alive. Okay, we took it away. Great. So after that, we just A1, right? I'm going to save his cleanse ability. No HP burn. Here, we can HP burn and decrease attack. Oh, we can't. His A2 decreases attack. Okay. Okay, so now he transforms. So we had one turn ourselves of dealing damage to him. Okay. So now we can cleanse, right? We saved our cleanse abilities. We can cleanse. We come back. So we're going to have a couple turns here of dealing damage to him, but we have to make sure we survive. So ideally, we can place in decrease attack, which we don't have. We don't have ready, right? So here we can do continuous heals. We could drop some continuous heals. See? And now this is when the shit show starts happening, right? When you start losing champions, this is when bad stuff starts happening. So anyways, but that's kind of like the gist, right? Like there's so many, you know, I try my best in the beginning, but there's some things that are happening that I can't really explain right away. But basically you want to go into his transformation with minimal buffs on yourself, and then minimal debuffs on him, and then his attack won't be so strong. But if you're like loaded up on buffs, like he gets stronger with more buffs or something. And yeah, having decreased attack on him really helps. Just gives you less damage. Like you just take less damage from him. Sorry. Nut Godseeker. Nut Godseeker, there's a range of speeds that can work, and there's a range of reasons why it can fail. So I did make a video about it, so you can definitely check it out. Gives you a more comprehensive look. But if you want to see exactly what I use, you can kind of see here. Here's my Godseeker. He's 180 speed with the Spirit Haste Mastery. So with food, he gets an additional With food, she gets an additional 24 speed, which means she is at 204 speed. Okay, so that's my Godseeker and Eerie. And then Nut, the DPS range, the DPS speed range is quite high. So you can literally run him like, I think the speed range is like 232 or higher. So you can run DPS higher than 232. But yeah, Godseeker, I run a really slow Godseeker, 180 speed. With the mastery, it's 204 speed. You could run 204 speed with no mastery. You know, a couple ways to make it work. There's a range, right? Does my wife watch my stream? No, she's sleeping. She's sleeping. How do you get my points in CVC? Good question. I do, like I'm at 100k, which is like on pace. Oh, who are we playing against? Oh man, this is gonna be tough. Maybe not. 64 trophies, that's pretty serious. 400k, I guess this is 3 key, 750 Hydra. But yeah, seems like a pretty serious clan. I don't know. Most of my points come from tag team. So tag team, crafting, dungeon farming, for example, that happens a bit. You guys are my midlife crisis. I guess that's a good way to put it. Oh yeah, Padre will mess me up. Yeah, I just put him in just for whatever. I didn't. It's not like the team was going to successfully complete it, to be honest. Necrit, Stone Skin, or Bolster. Yeah, you know what? I still use Necrit because he's kind of one of my better options for support. I have him in one turn Stone Skin and Bolster set. Basically, like people say, "Oh, why you put a Bolster set on him?" Blah blah blah. It's like, okay, well, if someone sees a Necrit, they're gonna bring Narcissus. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if he has a Bolster set or not. They're gonna bring Narcissus anyways, right? Because he's just gonna get his shield blown up. So the way I use Necrit is basically like in an offensive setting, like where I pick Necrit against somebody without Narcissus, right? If they don't have Narcissus, then I pick Necrit. But I do have him in Bolster set, one turn Stone Skin. He's slowish, about 200 speed. Not supporting us. No, she's very supportive. My wife, no, she's very supportive. I'm pretty sure, like, obviously, like I shared with you guys like quite a bit of my like personal tendencies, quirks. I'm pretty sure most people are not okay with that. But I'm sure she's not okay with it, but she supports. And sometimes that's all you really need. And it gives you a lot of strength to have the support of somebody that generally cares. So, you know, I'm very fortunate. Hey, Anthony, thanks for being here. Time for live. Yeah, I'm just have my attention somewhere else just for a second here. I like personally I like streaming because it's fun to interact. It's quite different than making videos. But it's difficult. Not I don't stream very often because of time, but it's difficult, especially attention. You're a newer player. If I start saving now, is it possible to complete the next fusion? Level 42, day 10. The next fusion is probably 9 days away. My guess is next Thursday. I don't think it's possible unless you spend money, but I don't think it's possible. Especially if you're a brand new player. Maybe if you were like a really seasoned veteran with a brand new account, you might be able to do it. But if you're brand new and you don't have the planning down and you don't know what to expect, I don't think it's possible. I think you should look forward, maybe like to the next fusion, and then try your best to preserve resources for that. Do you raid full time? That's a good question. I don't think I would do that. Mainly because of stability. I'm not young enough where I can sacrifice stability for for content creation. Yeah, basically, I'm not a big risk taker, and I think it's a very big risk to do content creation, especially for raid. And I'm not a big gamer. Like I play this game big. Like I play this game hard. But personally, I'm not a big gamer. I don't hop around games. I don't get hooked onto games easily. So that's why I don't see myself being like if something happened to raid, if raid suddenly sucked or died, like I don't see myself being able to adapt quickly into a new game where I will enjoy it. It's easy for me to make content because I enjoy it, because I enjoy raid. But one day I might not enjoy raid, and then I might not enjoy making content. But if it's my job, then that's a problem. Now I'm forced to do something I don't like because I need money. You know what I mean? So now it's a problem. And I don't want to be in that position. So for me, currently, I don't have aspirations to be full time, even though I probably could do full time content creation. Honestly, I probably could. I probably could. I put in almost full time hours. I make basically daily uploads. You know, I could probably do it full time. In terms of how much money I make, I don't make enough. I don't make as much as my job. I don't live in a city or country or area that can be sustained with what I make currently. So viability wise, it's not viable. But could I do it? Like, let's say I lost my job tomorrow. I could probably do content creation full time and live. It would not be as good as as having a job or my current job. But it's doable enough. But like I said, if something happens to raid and I don't like, future games or whatever, then it's gonna be a problem. It's just like my reasoned reason, I guess. Yeah. Do you do physical activity? I do a sport. I do a rec league sport once a week. It's mixed league, so it's with men and women. So that's kind of like my main source of exercise. I don't really do too much exercise. I know that's another thing. So I don't sleep super good. I don't sleep super good. Don't exercise. Don't be me, guys. Don't be me. Don't be me. Halloween fusion are usually meh. Yeah, they are. History-wise, it's very meh. Should aim for the fusion epic. Yeah, if there's a fusion epic, then you know assess the epic, right? And go from there. Oh dang, that's something I didn't know. These clan quest rewards are only for 1 day. I didn't know that. Hey, let's open this gold chest on stream. Oh, 4-star chicken. So useless. Let's open this diamond chest on stream. Platinum chest. Wow, 20 core hammers. Oh, yeah. Totally useless. Totally useless stuff. Just don't get burnt out. Yeah. Some days I feel like, you know, I should take a break. But then I find something else that I'm interested in or I'm inspired in, and then it's good. Somebody asked me my hardest hitting damage dealer. Taras is my best damage. Well, actually, Rhodos is my best damage dealer on my account. He's my only +1 champion on both my accounts. And he has a 6-star blessing, and he's in a max faction guardian or whatever. So I have him maxed out other than being +4. So he's my best damage dealing champion. Yeah, I love my Rhodos. I don't use him too much anymore because he's too easy to check in live arena, so I have to pick him late. Not a great generalist. Taras I use a lot, but he suffers because I don't have good faction guardians on him. So faction guardians I only have level 1. I'm missing a lot of stats. But he's one of my best damage dealers as well. Mainly because his base kit is just kind of busted. You can always play Starborn Frontiers. You know, honestly, that game is not bad. It feels good. It feels good. I'm not a big fan of the star theme, the star like galaxy space theme. I'm not a big fan, but the art looks great. The art looks good. I can definitely see it having an audience, and it reminds me a lot about, you know, the game that we all play, right? Fusions are overrated most of the time. It's even better just to pull shards on 2x events instead of stupid 15x. True. Some fusions are overrated. It really depends. Like if your account is new, like let's say 1 month, and you have ancient shards and a 2x ancient comes up, you're probably pulling for a 2x ancient and not waiting for a fusion. Because what if the next fusion that pops up is bad? Then you skip it. Then you wait for the next one. And then you skip it again. And then you wait for the next one. So, you know, 2x events are generally pretty good, especially for early game where you need the epics to just push your account. Is the current Forge Pass worth picking up? Bolster set is good, but half bolster material is not good. Defiant set is good, but it's not an extremely great set to be paying money for, in my opinion. What game did you play before Raid? I played Hearthstone. It's a card game from Blizzard, based around Warcraft. Alright, man. Thank you, Sniper. Thanks for hanging out. Want this champion. I have the 6-star soul. Rhodos is great. He changed my account too when I pulled him. He's like the first real damage dealer I got for Arena. Have you seen the game Hell Haze working on? Yes, I watched some of his promo videos for his game. It looks good. I want to see it like maybe played. But like I said, guys, I don't really have time to jump into a new game and get into a new game. But I would definitely try it once it's a little bit more fleshed out a little bit. I don't want to be jumping in when it's, you know, things all buggy and not enjoyable. So I want to see the kind of like a more finished product before I invest more time into it. Are you not pulling Carnage after all the effort? No, I'm gonna wait for Champion Chase probably. I don't need the points for this CVC. I think we're just doing like minimum. I don't know if we're gonna try to go all out. Is bolster or divine gear better to use charms on? Personally, I think bolster is really good. Like it's good for PvP, it's good for PvE. I think defiance more of a niche pick. Not going to be used as often. Yeah, they didn't address the Head of Torment. I think the Head of Torment is actually a problem too, that they probably should address, either by adding more Veil champions or something. Because right now there's just not that many options to deal with the Head of Torment. Some Wukong Masteries. These are kind of generic damage dealing masteries. The key one here is Helm Smasher. I think Wukong probably triggers this relatively with some frequency, I think. So that's a pretty good one. First hit, probably a pretty good one too. Shield Breaker for Arena. But yeah, that's my Sun Wukong. How long did it take you to finish the Great Hall? About 2 years. 2 years. How can you balance your Rotos more? So the thing with Rotos is that, as you may know, his attack scales off of attack and HP. So the golden ratio here is 1 attack per 11 HP. So if you are off balanced, let's say you're trying to trade, let's say you're trading 20 HP, let's say you're trading 200 HP for 10 attack. I would go with the HP because you get more damage from HP because you're getting a 20-to-1 ratio, right? Instead of an 11-to-1 ratio, which is probably the break-even point. So you're getting a 21 ratio with the HP versus attack. So you stick with the HP. The other consideration is that HP gives you survivability. So you might want to sacrifice some power for survivability. So you see my Rotos here, that's 60,000 HP. Not only does 60,000 HP gives them attack, like gives them power, it gives them also survivability. It gives them ability to take hits. So that's kind of like the ratio that you're kind of like compromising with. Obviously you want to mix in like crit damage and all that stuff. The best thing is to use the optimizer, to be honest. We somehow got matched against the 142 clan and they are ripping us a new one. My second clan is, I think we're one. Are we winning? Yeah, we are winning. Yeah, we're ranked 184. So this is the clan, like, I've been with this cluster ever since I started raid. So 4 years. And I'm the clan leader of the top clan in our cluster. There's a lot of work went into this clan, but it's a great clan. A lot of guys been there many years. So great cluster, great group of guys. Low spenders. For low spenders who's not very deep in endgame, forge passes are best investment. Yes, I agree. Forge passes, they give you a ton of gear, guys. Forge passes, they give you 200 pieces of, these sets. Like for example, like I do 1 forge pass free to play, I get 15 Slayer pieces. Right? 15 of these 5 or 6 star Slayer pieces. If you bought the forge pass, you get 200 or 250. I forgot which one it was. You guys can tell me. It's like 200 or 250 pieces. That's so much gear. 5 and 6 star Slayer gear. Like for example, right? 200 pieces bolster gear. Like what am I, like free to play? Like you're working with 15 pieces, man. Like that's nothing. So yeah, the forge pass, massive. If you need gear, it's massive. The thing about forge pass is that they don't have a good damage dealing forge pass set, right? There's no good damage dealing set. Like you have instinct, which is good, but it's not as good as savage. Like savage is 25% ignore, right? And then you have merciless now, which is 35%. So instinct, yes, the speed is good, but when you want a damage dealer to deal damage, you want maximum damage on them. So, I think the forge pass needs a better damage set. And it's gonna, yeah, then you would never even like farm gear anymore. You wouldn't even bother buying energy to farm gear. You just buy forge passes and farm Dark Fae and farm Sand Devil and fix your gear. That's it. You're losing 0-4? Oh man. At least try to, yeah, at least getting one. Yeah, that's tough. Wow, spawn. Yeah, Slayer the other week. Yeah. Yeah. It is important to focus on faction wars or gang champions to complete Dark Fae hard. I feel it leans towards lethal gear. I mean, they're not exclusive of each other, right? So you can still focus on Dark Fae, and then you can still do your faction wars, right? So, you know, Dark Fae is basically just like kind of a gear check because she's so fast. She's 250 speed. You need good accuracy as well, and you need to keep her turn meter down. So you need fast champions yourself. But if you have those stats, then I definitely recommend doing Dark Fae, because if you can farm Dark Fae 120 the whole rotation, you're going to end up with about 200 pieces at the end of it, or maybe 150 pieces. 150 pieces, I think, is more accurate. And 150 pieces of lethal gear can definitely transform your account. So it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Yeah, Bommel and Scarab. Yeah, Scarab is more manageable now because some epics can do Scarab with, and then the Blood Shield accessories and all that stuff. And obviously, like, epic empowerments go a long way. But yeah, Bommel is still difficult, but it's less difficult now, I'd say. Hold on. Do I want to do more crafting? I spent about 5,000, almost 5,000 Magi Steel. Probably want to burn this untouchable. I'm going to burn it all. Just going to burn it all. Two usable gloves, two usable chests. Ah. Funny thing, I consider myself an endgame player. I can clear all contact besides some stage in Curse City and don't even have one great Savage set. Yeah, my Savage set is actually not super great. I have better lethal gear and I have better merciless gear now. But yeah, Curse City is definitely, like, if you're going to think forward thinking, Curse City is the future, right? Eventually, even my lethal gear is being phased out because my merciless gear is starting to come in a lot more regularly than lethal gear. So imagine yourself farming Curse City for 3 months versus farming Dark Fae for 1 month out of 3 months. You're going to get more curse gear than you are, you're going to get more merciless gear in those 3 months than you are probably getting lethal gear in 1 month. So your merciless gear will eventually overtake your lethal gear. So even lethal gear will be phased out. So for me, like, farming Savage, like, when they have 3x Savage events, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care anymore because those events just don't do anything for me anymore. But like, for a player that can't farm merciless gear, they can't farm Dark Fae gear, then your only hope is farming Savage gear. And I think that's just the progression of the game, right? I think people need to realize that, like, yes, Savage gear might not be good for you anymore, but for a player that's coming up, Savage gear is their only option, and it's still the best option they have. So you have to kind of go through those steps. I'm going to farm Savage gear. I'm going to farm lethal gear. I'm going to farm merciless gear. And eventually all the other, the lower gear sets will be phased out. But that's the progression of your account over years, right? That's true. Sorry. Lethal Stone Skin is still very important. Yes. Yes. It's very important. Yeah. No, that's true. It's true. I did notice for myself personally, I did remove some champions from lethal and put them in merciless. But it's true. If you want a combination with Stone Skin, then yes, you have to keep them for live arena or arena in general. Yeah. You run RSL while playing. Yes. They need a filter sell button. Yeah. Actually, I forgot about the lethal Stone Skin combination, but you're totally right. Yeah. The merge cell file. It's My cluster mate shared it with us. I don't really want to share it without his permission, so I don't really want to, you know, I don't want to disrespect like that. So it's not my file, right? But it's a modified version of the little gaming file that I provided. Well, a screen cap of his channel, but let's see here. Not much is going on. Let's check how the. Oh, okay. I'm just